Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check out the description for more awesome content and my playlist. The author of the story MullinLiam from Wattpad. So let's start the video. Izuku POV. After All Might left, I was stuck lost in my thoughts and despair. I wandered feeling sorry for myself after all 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Bakugo always said I was just a worthless Deku. I knew it deep in the back of my mind. But still, what's so wrong with trying to be a hero without a quirk? Even All Might said no. So if the #1 hero doesn't think it can be done, what hope do I have of making it a reality? Suddenly I'm drawn back to the world as explosions are going off. Wait, when did I get here? Is the fight from earlier still happening? I guess I must have subconsciously walked here. I see the crowd and walk through to the front to see what the villian is like and what hero or heroes are involved. To my horror, not 50 ahead of me is that same sludge villian I was saved from is holding some kid hostage. I see Death Arms, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, Backdraft, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏, and several others. I'm so confused. Didn't All Might have him? Oh no, Izuku, what did you do? Suddenly I remember back on that roof, All Might didn't have the bottle in his pocket. I'm so sorry, this is all my fault. This kid is going to die because of me and my stupid dream wasting All Might's time and clinging to him. As a river of guilt and sorrow pours from my eyes, I suddenly see some familiar spiky blonde hair and realize who I am responsible for killing. Those BLD red eyes that were filled with tears. The constant flood of memories filling my head. Before I knew what was happening, I was racing forward. All Might's oh man. I'm past my limit. All because that stupid quirkless brat just had to jump on me. Just had to ask pointless questions. 𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗟𝗏, sorry brat, ain't gonna be able to save ya. Maybe I can spin this in my favor and get that quirkless runt to take the blame. Yeah, that might W. Suddenly a flash of fluffy green hair screams and runs towards the sludge villian, making a huge 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 grin cross my face. Ha, if yes. What the F is he gonna do, run up and die? Well, even better, that freak is gonna die and get the blame for this other boy's death also. Yes. All Might, you can be a hero still. God works in mysterious ways indeed. Izuku's POV. What's going on? My legs won't stop moving. I can hear the crowd and all the pros screaming, but my legs won't listen. All I can think is there's no way I can let Bakugo die for my mistake. I see the sludge villain noticing me and he thwips a tentacle at me, screaming. In a flash I remember from my notebook and duck while spinning to throw my backpack at the villain's face, hoping to distract him, and luckily it does. Something in my bag fell out and hit his eye, forcing him to flinch and look away, allowing Bakugo to get his mouth free to catch his breath. Yes, that worked. Now that he can breathe, I was able to buy him time. Bakugo looks at me and roars, "What the hell, Deku, what are you doing here, you worthless freak?" I didn't listen, just clawed desperately at the sludge and then smiled at Bakugo. I couldn't just stand by and watch you die. The villian finally had recovered and was screaming, "I've had enough of you, stupid brat, it is time you die." I had looked up, but what I saw terrified me. Mere inches from my face, the huge tentacle-like arm was flying at me, going to slam on me, and there was nothing I could do to stop it or save Bakugo. I'm sorry, Mom. I hope this makes up for all the uselessness a son like me could bring, was the last thoughts in my head as the arm crashed down on me. Nobody's POV. Millions of light years away from the Earth, we see a giant ship flying in space. Inside we see a creature that looks relatively human, minus the giant size of the being. It stands 12 feet tall and has deep blue skin and a muscular frame, solid silver hair and eyes, with a curious expression upon his face. POV. Floating in space in my personal vessel, I am monitoring situations on various planets. I stop on one blue orb in the Milky Way. I see footage of this small green-haired boy with diamond freckles running in to fight some amorphous blob with some kid in its body. I'm intrigued as I haven't witnessed this planet before, seeing as I monitor millions of worlds, so I stop time to review a history of the world. After my quick review, I start time back up again after I learn of the Earth's history and wonder what this boy's quirk is as I'm watching this child running to the blob person. I establish a mental link to the child without him realizing it. I guess he is panicking, or he'd noticed the tingling sensation. I review the child's history and to my shock, this brave young boy has no power. He is even rushing to save his tormentor after all the pain this boy has felt at his quirk. The scars both physical and mental, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Let's see what becomes of this. To my great joy, he buys the explosive teen the precious seconds needed to regain his breath. But moments later I see that blob crush this poor honorable powerless boy. I'm not going to let this stand. I roar in fury, shaking the cosmos with my power. I will not let this be where your story ends, my child. I quickly reverse time to just before the hit lands and stop it. Then I teleport Izuku to me in my vessel. The innocent cinnamon roll was surprised to say the least when he entered my chamber. What? Where am I? Where's the sludge guy, And Bakugo? He screams out the questions as he shakes his head from side to side. While not turning around to notice me, I smile and say, "Be calm, human child 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Right now you are in my vessel millions of light years away from the Earth. Presently all time outside of this ship has been stopped." I say to the shaking, scared teen as he spins around and finally realizes he's not alone. "AGW, who are you? What are you?" He panic yells. "Relax, child, I am someone who watches the worlds in this universe. I have for millions of years. Let me ask you this, child 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Why would you risk your life for that boy? After all he has put you through?" Izuku takes his time to respond after swallowing, almost as if he is trying to swallow back down his tongue and intestinal tract. "WW, who are you? How do you know my name?" I sigh. Apparently this will take a while. Oh boy. Well, 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘, I am called by many different names. I am an ancient being that has existed since time began. I suppose you could call me a god considering my immortality and vast array of powers. Though you may call me 𝗧𝗪𝐴 if it suits you. I actually don't remember my own name, so that sounds agreeable to me for the time being. Now Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, will you answer my question? The boy, still shaken by my revelations, seems to take a few deep breaths and stutters out, "BB, because it's TT the right thing to do. I don't want him to die. He may be mean to me, but Bakugo is going to be a great hero. A hero never gives up and risks his life to save everyone. Even if we don't agree with or like them. Especially CC, cause the sludge villian is my responsibility, as he got away from all might cost of me. Please 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏, let me go save him. I am just a quirkless, worthless Deku with no PP power, but I want to be a hero. His hero, even if just this once. Even if I die, I must fix this." Izuku's POV 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 ponders over my answer as I stare deeply into his silver eyes with as much determination as I can convey. "Really? Well, let me ask you this. What if I gave you the power you seek, Izuku?" I am blown away by his question. My jaw hit the floor and my brain stops. Power I seek. What would I do with it? That's easy. I think quickly before I reply. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏. I would rescue him. I'd save him to repay what I owe. Then I will give it back. Anything to keep Bakugo alive and get that villian caught. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 thinks for a minute, then smiles at me. "Would you now? Think it over, child. The powers I will offer you will be permanent. You do this and there is no going back." I smile, and with all the conviction in my heart and soul I say, "I would. In a heartbeat I'd do it. I cannot let him die. I will accept any punishment given to me after. I just refuse to cause the death of my friend or anyone for that matter." I smile brightly, just as 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 does before he laughs triumphantly. "Well, 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, be prepared. These powers belonged to many heroes from many different worlds. You can go beyond just rescuing that Pomeranian. This is no quirk, so I do not think you will be punished. Your body will change, but I will make sure you keep your freckled face so everyone important to you recognizes you." Soon as he finished saying that, he raised his right arm, glowing a brilliant shade of blue, and the glow envelopes me as I smile. "Thank you, 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏. Thank you for believing in me." As I finish saying that, I am enveloped in that same brilliant blue light. I feel my body begin to fill with massive power and scream as the pain involved finally hits. My voice changes partway through as blue lightning is arcing through me. It gets deeper, Finally the pain subsides and light dies down. I stand at my full height, not realizing I am now 6 feet 4 inches. With crystal blue hair flowing in my eyes. And look down to see massive muscles everywhere and even a new school uniform to fit my huge frame. I started to tear up as I flex my huge muscles and feel the power he gave me. 𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗧, what happened? How'd I change so much? 𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗧 smiles and lets out a laugh. 𝗧𝗜𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏, I gave you the powers of some of the most legendary warriors from many worlds. In all I granted you the full abilities of 10 different warriors. You currently are the most powerful being to ever walk on Earth. But know this 𝗧𝗜𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏. I will continue to monitor you and will either grant you more powers later, or if you go back on your oath to me I will strp you of them. If that happens you should know that you died and I reverse time to bring you back, so keep that heroic heart. That conviction, stay determined and you will be the greatest hero in the world. Also, I get the feeling we will need you elsewhere at times, so I will send you gifts needed for your new powers to your room on Earth, as well as communication equipment to reach me at any time. After you save your friend, the explosive dog, and you get home, contact me again. We can't have the hero return without a flashy intro, right Izuku? So I'll send you back in a blazing blue flash. Go save the Pomeranian. I feel the powers flowing in my body and smile, saying, I will make you proud of me 𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗧. Thank you for this opportunity. A brilliant blue envelopes me again as 𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗏 smiles. I know you will, human child 𝗧𝗜𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏, now show the world what you can do. Suddenly in a flash of light I am back in front of the sludge villain. I roar with power as the lights die down and time starts up again. I pull back my right arm with a smile. I will not be stopped, villain. As I swing with all my strength, unleashing a massive air blast, sending it to the sludge villain, blasting him to pieces. All Might's POV in a blinding flash of light and a mighty roar, I suddenly feel a huge air pressure and look up. My jaw hit the floor as I see not the 𝗓𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗡 brat but a massive giant with long flowing blue hair standing in position with the other boy in one hand as he holds the posture from his punch. What the F? WW was that 𝗓𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗡 freak lying to me? Is this him, or did someone get him out and take his place? What's going on? The entire crowd and all the other pro heroes are gobsmacked as we all look on. The boy begins to turn and all my rage comes up as that's the 𝗓𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗡 freak. Those DMN green eyes and diamond freckles. I snarl and clench my fists, trying to understand what happened when I see that brat set the boy down as the pros rush him and medical personnel run to the other boy. The freak just stands in the street smiling while all the pros berate him before he says in a calm, deep voice, I am 𝗧𝗜𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏, and as much as I'd gladly accept punishment for saving Bakugo, I am afraid that is not possible. See, I am 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏. So if that's all, can you please see to his recovery? He stays smiling as I and all the others are picking ourselves up off the floor, trying to wrap our heads around it. I see Death Arms follow the boy, saying something about getting to the bottom of this, and he pulls out some quirk-canceling cuffs. Suddenly my brain kicks back in and I smile and scream out, hey, that's the boy who made All Might lose the villain in the first place. I saw as he was grabbing him that All Might dropped the container that the villain was in. As I scream, I point accusingly at the boy, thinking I've totally got this 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗡 freak by the ball. Quickly seeing all the heroes rush him and cuff him, then calling police. Izuku's POV in a blur, things went from villain caught and Bakugo saved to a mob of heroes tackling me and cuffing me after some dumb blonde skeleton screams and points his finger at me while smiling. What? Wait, so I'm still in trouble for this? But it doesn't take long before a bunch of police show up and start to pull me off to a police station. Sigh, why can't I ever catch a break? No matter. I will explain everything to the cops and then get home, as I did not break the law. 𝗧𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏. Izuku's POV. Yep. I'm being cuffed. Yep, that's a police station. The hell did I do in a past life to tick off the universe so hard? Sighing and relenting the cuffs as not wanting to make my situation even worse, all I could hope for was finding that 1 in a billion person to actually listen and see me as even a bit believable. As I'm being led to the interrogation room, I am still replaying the reason for why they decided to just mob me and cuff me. Some stick-thin blonde dude somehow watched my encounter with All Might. Then instead of speaking up to literally anyone before the villain escaped his bottle, he waits for me to take out the villain. risking Bakugo's and potentially more civilian lives. But finds the nugget of courage to get me arrested. Maybe Bakugo was right and should have taken the swan dive. Well, might as well enjoy my last moments of freedom. I see a stereotypical detective even got the hat and trench coat looking majority confused and angry. Just my luck he'll be the one to interrogate me. Called it because 10 minutes later he comes in with a notebook and introduces himself. Hello Izuku Midoriya. My name is Detective 𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗟𝗘 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and finish his sentence, but the cuffs would suggest otherwise. He smiles somewhat and asks me to explain my reason for being here. You know, I asked myself that 1,000 times while I was literally mobbed, cuffed, and dragged here. Apparently beating a villain without having a quirk counts as an illegal activity. I then go through the events leading to me being arrested. The detective just sits there, eyes as wide as dinner plates, as I go through my encounter with sludge boi. Well, Mr. 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟𝗘, can you excuse me for a moment? I'll be right back, I just need to, explain things with my superiors. Yes, sure, take your time. Though can I least get these cuffs off? 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks at me, then the mirror, and says, why yes, I don't see. Crunch, I shatter the cuffs, and now that I think about it, I probably should have let him uncuff me. How did you just break those cuffs? Scratch that, I definitely should have let him uncuff me. Well, I mean, I'm literally the strongest being on the planet right now, and I don't have a quirk. Weren't you listening to me as I explained this? 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 stands up and slowly exits the room. Guess he wasn't. Well, wonder what all-day Goya sent to my room. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘's POV: after exiting the room, I quickly go to meet up with 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. But before I can even reach the room, I hear an all-too-familiar cackle. I turn around and see 𝗧𝗍𝗧 alongside Izuku and Midnight. 𝗧𝗍𝗧, sir. To what do I owe your visit here today? All I could hope for was that it didn't pertain to Mr. 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course it's about him. Well met, 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. I have come to have a chat with one Izuku 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟, if that was at all possible. 𝗧𝗍𝗧 said with a terrifying grin that sent shivers down my spine. I will see what I can do. Yeah, not my finest response, but after watching 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟 shatter the strongest quirk-canceling cuffs available and all the things he said, I'm not on my A-game here. I walk with them to the chief's office as 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 meets us there. I tell them both 𝗧𝗍𝗧's request and the fact that 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟 was being fully truthful about the events of today. Oh, come on, 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. You expect me to believe that 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗡 story he cooked up was the truth? Screamed an irate All Might, shocking everyone. All Might, you do remember what my quirk is, right? 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 snapped his jaw shut as then 𝗧𝗍𝗧 spoke up. Well, from what we have gathered from 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, All Might young 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟 spoke the truth and is indeed quirkless. Any reason for your sudden outburst, or can I go speak with the boy now? That apparently for some reason angered 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 further, but he refused to speak. I don't get why he is so mad, but before things could escalate further, my chief gave 𝗧𝗍𝗧 permission to speak to 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟. As 𝗧𝗍𝗧, Izuku, and Midnight left, I asked the chief if we were letting 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟 go. Well, as far-fetched as his story seems, you determined he is in fact quirkless and he has been nothing but truthful. We can't really hold him here against his will. So once the UA principal and teachers leave, yes, we will let young 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟𝗘 go home. I let out a sigh as All Might roughly slammed the door in his haste to leave. Seriously, what crawled up his butt about this 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟𝗘 kid? 𝗧𝗍𝗧's POV: we enter the interrogation room riding on Izuku's shoulder. I get this shiver up my spine. So exciting, a quirkless child not only strong enough to defeat the sludge villain but even shattering the cuffs. He freezes up for a second looking at the three of us. Why is the principal of UA here to meet me? I chuckled at that. Am I a bear, a dog, or a mouse? Either way, I am Principal 𝗧𝗍𝗧. I'm cut off as young 𝗔𝗍𝗧𝗟𝗘 interrupts. Sorry to interrupt, but you are a chimera. Wow, this boy is more than just muscle. Why, yes I am, but how did you know that? I ask as I am blown away by someone actually getting it right. Izuku and Nomiuri exchange glances, both as flabbergasted as I am presently. Oh, well, you see. All my life I have studied quirks. I know you're a chimera because I learned it during my research of you. Also, quick question, why are Midnight and Eraserhead with you too? Even more interesting, this boy recognized Izuku as Eraserhead. This gets more and more intriguing by the second. Wait, you know me? Izuku replied, somewhat taken aback. Oh, I literally know every pro hero. In fact, I have so many notebooks full of analysis on every hero, major villain, and vigilante back at my home. I probably should have brought them, but does that answer your question, Eraserhead-san? I began cackling as this boy bluntly answered Izuku. Regardless, young Midoriya, it has come to my attention that you defeated the sludge villain and are in fact quirkless. Not only that, but I learned from Tsukachi's interrogation of you some interesting details. Quite the day you have had, if I say so myself. Tell me, young Midoriya, have you ever had any intentions of becoming a hero? The boy's eyes widen as he begins beating the world record of words spoken per minute. 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗟𝗘 times 𝗧𝗑𝐕𝐴𝗓𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Try again please, as you spoke so fast I didn't quite catch that. Midoriya smiles as he grabs the back of his head. Sorry about that. Long day. Yes, Nizu, I have always wanted to be a hero. But until today that seemed unfeasible. Mostly I've only ever been told I'm a worthless Deku who would die unable to save anyone all costs. I don't have a quirk. Even by all MA top-ranking hero. Heck, even the boy I saved, Bakugo. Hearing this I stop. A top-ranking hero and even the person you saved. What do you mean, young Midoriya? I asked with a look of concern upon my face. Sighing, young Midoriya slowly answered. I was saved by a top 10 hero when that sludge villain attacked me earlier today and asked them if I could be a hero. They said no. Laughed at me. Told me I'd just be a useless freak. The boy I saved, Katsuki Bakugo. Well, he used to be my best friend until I was diagnosed quirkless. Ever since then he's been nothing but a bully, attacking me, calling me a Deku, using his quirk on me. Even earlier today, not 30 minutes before I was rescued by that hero, he told me to take a swan dive off the roof and pray for a quirk in the next life, all simply because I am quirkless. If you all met me before my transformation, I could have taken my uniform off and showed my scars for proof of at least the quirk abuse. To say I was shocked would an understatement. To hear all this after asking my question not only shocked us but infuriated us all. Scars. How bad were they, young Midoriya? I asked, trying to keep my composure. I could hear Nemuri tighten her fists round her WHP and Aizawa was snarling in fury. I didn't have half my left pectoral and had scars over 85% of my body. Basically, the only places without scar tissue from all the attacks would be the groin, buttocks, and bottoms of my feet. Nobody did anything about it either. Other kids used their quirks and the teachers allowed it. They would dock my grades, lose assignments I turned in, encourage people to attack me, etc. Basically, only 3 people in this world ever treated me as a human. My mother as well as Bakugo's parents. I just didn't have the heart to tell those 3 what has been going on, as they've been friends since they were in school. My mom works so hard to provide for me after my dad left us for America when he found out I was quirkless. He blamed her. Since then it has been me and my mom. After Bakugo changed, I stopped going to their house to avoid any more beatings than already had, so that's a secondary reason for not explaining the situation to them at least. Nemuri was in tears listening to his story. This boy who not only was dealt the bad luck in genetics, but society itself deemed him worthless. Yet through it all he still yearned to be a hero. Not only that, but he even saved his biggest tormentor. I'm so sorry, Midoriya. I didn't know what was going on, but I promise you this. It ends today. I will request Tsukachi and the police to look into your middle school and handle this. Nobody deserves to be tortured for something they had no control over. Midoriya smiled brightly at my vow to end his torment. TT, thank you, Nizu sir. It definitely helps a lot. I go to Aldra Junior High. I'm sure they have plenty of footage on their security cameras to catch what's been going on. But they may dump it if it takes too long to start investigating. I'm sure they saw the news footage of the sludge villain incident as well. I smile at him and tell Aizawa to get Tsukachi. Time skip. 3 hours Izuku's POV. I was walking up to my door alongside Aizawa, Midnight, and Principal Nizu, having already called my mom to explain where I was. I warned them that my mom is a very nervous woman and to be prepared for geysers to shoot out of her eyes when we spoke to her. I unlocked it and opened up the door, letting them enter as well, but before I could speak I was tackled by a green missile and was already soaked from the tears of my mom before she jumped back up after realizing the body she was holding onto was far larger than the body I had when I went to school this morning. "WW, who are you?" she screamed as I stood to my new full height and looked her in the eye. "Mom, it's me. A lot has happened today, but I promise it's Izuku." She promptly and rightly fainted. Sighing just knowing my day is about to get even longer and more stressful, I pick her up and place her on the couch. I smiled and offered the 3 tea or coffee in Aizawa's case. After preparing the drinks for them, I went into my room to get my notebooks for Nizu and we spoke until my mom woke up. "Izuku, I had the strangest," she started as she turned to see. "Nope, this wasn't a dream." WW wasn't a dream," she screeched, sighing and started to speak. One big but explanation later, "Oh my baby boy. I'm the worst mother ever." My mom began to wail as she hugged me. I then spoke. "Mom, no. It's not your fault. The blame lies with me. I never spoke about my problems. You cannot blame yourself for what I purposefully hid from you. Nor should you blame Aunt Mitsuki or Uncle Masu. They also had no idea what my life's really been like." It was at this moment when Nizu spoke up. "Mrs. Midoriya, you must not blame yourself for what's happened. You're not a bad parent. On the contrary, you're a wonderful parent. You are struggling as a single mom working hard to raise her wondrous son. Which is why we have come to meet with you. Tomorrow we would like to bring you and young Midoriya to UA for some medical tests, and once we have medical proof of him being quirkless, we have an offer to make you. It's not that I doubt young Midoriya or you that he still is quirkless. We just want to have the tests done to have proof for the case we are going to bring up against Aldra and Katsuki Bakugo." Mom was stunned to hear how far that UA is willing to go for a student who isn't even in their school. But she nodded yes and asked, "What all do we need to do tomorrow for the tests?" Nizu smiled. "Oh, not to worry, it is just the standard test to seek for a quirk in young Midoriya." Hearing this, she smiled and agreed. The teachers spoke with her for a few more minutes before they departed. Sighing, I was glad to get that huge weight off my chest. I looked at Mom and reassured her she was not to blame and I do not hate her, and asked her again not to blame or hate Aunt Mitsuki or Uncle Masaru, as I do not hate or blame them either. Before we decided to have dinner and head to bed, I looked in my room, and on the bed were the gifts and communicator 𝗧𝗪𝗧 spoke of, and to my surprise they were several swords, the communicator, books of spells, and other devices that seemed to come from different worlds, all with notes attached to them explaining their purpose. I was absolutely stunned, tears threatening to erupt any minute before activating the communicator, which looked like a holographic disc. There in front of me was a holographic image of 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟. I told him about the day and thanked him a million times. "You're welcome, human Izuku Midoriya. I am glad you enjoyed the gifts. I also have to say I was surprised you agreed to Nizu helping handle the Pomeranian and your school. I must say I am definitely amazed at the future we will have together. Get some rest, young one, and tomorrow we will speak some more. Remember that the powers I gave are yours permanently. You may get more later, but as long as you never go back on your vow, I have no doubt Earth will become a peaceful place once again. Sleep well and talk to you tomorrow." I smiled and bowed, saying my thanks and bid farewell. Nizu's POV. I awoke the next morning and quickly set about going to Chiyo's office and getting both Eraser and Midnight to wait at the entrance for both Midoriyas. When I arrived, it was to Chiyo smacking 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 on the head for his outburst the previous day, leading to young Midoriya's detainment and in the police station. I had quickly put 2 and 2 together and released some killing intent. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏, I must insist you head to my office and wait for me to return. We have a talk that we must have. It involves you and young Midoriya. Do not test my patience." Shaking like a leaf, All Might turned and wide-eyed stuttered out his agreement before flying through the halls to reach my office. I sighed. The oaf really messed up this time, didn't he, Chiyo? Recovery Girl scowled and nodded her head. That is an understatement if what you insinuated did occur. But that shall wait until later. It's nice to see you, Nizu. I am preparing for when young Midoriya and his mother arrive. I'll get the tests done and results to you. Though I must ask, What is your offers for them after we verify young 𝗔𝗧𝗟𝗃's quirk status? I chuckled at this. Well, all in due time. Hee, I promise it's nothing chaotic. But those two have been through enough hardships. I know you will enjoy the offer. No plots of world domination or evil to befall the students or school. I just see a lot of myself in young 𝗔𝗧𝗟. I want that boy to be successful and to help him and his mother's lives. Now let's wait for their arrival, shall we? I said as I began to pour her some tea, chuckling at the stunned look on her face as I poured the tea in some cups for us. Time skip 30 minutes. Izuku's POV. We arrived at the gate, both staring at the size of the entrance and the H-shaped building itself. 𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗟𝗏. Wow, Izuku, would you look at this place? Mom said, stunned. I laughed as I noticed Ms. Midnight and 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃. Problem child, glad to see you're on time. Nice to see you as well, Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, said 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃 as Midnight kept eyeing me up and down, licking her lips. Why, if it isn't the handsome young Midoriya, hee. If you would follow us, we will take you to Recovery Girl for the quirk test. Hee, if we're lucky, maybe you and I can play doctor if there is time, said Midnight with a lustful gaze, making me and my mom both stop in our tracks. Izuku, are you sure that we will be okay? I just as shocked looked from Midnight to 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃 back to Mom. Why yeah, after all they're heroes. Also, Ms. Midnight is only teasing Mom. She's not really like that. I hope. I chuckled as Midnight stumbled for a second before we started making our way inside. Very perceptive, aren't you, problem child? Asked 𝗧𝗟𝗃 as he grinned at Midnight. Well, as I said, I know about every hero and you all saw my notes on every one of you. Though I must say it definitely is a standout personality, Ms. Midnight. It works for you and has helped your career. Midnight just pouted as she looked at me. You're no fun, but thank you for the praise. Also, yes, your son is right, I'm not really as I act. It gets villains off guard and helps when combined with my quirk. Although with young 𝗔𝗧𝗟𝗃's recent transformation, I wouldn't be surprised if he's constantly going to be crowded by girls, she said with a knowing smile on her face, making Mom light up with a huge smile, meaning grandbabies. Oh, I can't wait, Izuku, you're so handsome and smart, I'm sure a girl or a dozen would gladly be with you. I immediately and correctly chose this time to pass right the hell out. Mom's been hooked. I should have just let her think Ms. Midnight was the way she acted. But knew I had to act all smart and walked right into a trap. DMNU Izuku 𝗔𝗧𝗟𝗃. You're supposed to be smart. I swear I could hear Mom, Midnight, Nizu, Satan, Dagoya, and for some reason small children and 6 different women cackling at me. What happened? I asked as I started to wake up on a bed. Welcome to the land of the living, problem child. You passed out after Nemuri and your mom started talking about girls and babies, said 𝗧𝗟𝗃 with a smirk. See, why couldn't that part have been a dream? I yelped out as I facepalm. I look up to see 𝗧𝗟𝗃, Midnight, Nizu, Recovery Girl, and my mom in the medical office. Recovery Girl walks up and introduces herself. Hello, I'm Recovery Girl. Nice to meet you. I'm sure you know why you're here, so no time to waste, let's get testing. I comply as I listen to my mom and Midnight go on about girls and babies with a huge blush on my face as Nizu cackles away. We run the tests and just wait on the results as I start a chat with Nizu, asking about the different buildings I saw walking up to the school. He explains the various buildings and purposes, to which I was surprised how many I guessed right. Soon the results came in and bingo, still quirkless. As expected, now that we have medical files proving young 𝗔𝗧𝗟𝗃 is truly quirkless, I think it's time we spoke of my offers for the two of you. Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I would like to extend a hand and hire you as a nurse here for Recovery Girl, as well as offer the two of you housing here. I was stunned, as was Mom, as she has been working as a nurse for years in several hospitals to make sure we had a future. But to be offered a position and housing her at UA, that's amazing. Are you sure, Mr. Nizu, sir? We www be intruding and I wouldn't be taking anyone's job. Mom managed to stutter out. Nizu just smiled. Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, it would be no trouble. We hardly get nurses here as too many are unqualified or simply refuse to work with Chio because they don't want to waste their talents, as she just uses her quirk, but in truth Chio only uses her quirk when necessary. She's very well trained in medicine, but we all age, and it would help greatly having such a well-respected, hardworking nurse as you join her. Plus, with your personality, it would help the students feel safer, as some get overwhelmed by how upfront and blunt 𝗑𝐲 can be. Besides, with the two of you living on campus, it would help ensure young Midoriya is not being mistreated. He can train here and study to the point needed for graduation of middle school, so we can get him ready for the entrance exam if he wishes to continue his path to becoming a hero. Now, young Midoriya, would you be willing to join UA's hero course? I was expecting it, but still to hear those words from 𝗎𝐻𝗂 made both my mom and me tear up. Most definitely, yes, I would love that. Can we, Mom? Inko, still trying to get her head around it, was never so happy and proud. Not only did all her hard work get her noticed by 𝗎𝗂, but her son, her once tiny timid son, was given his chance to fulfill his dream. Thank you so much. Yes, 𝗎𝗂, I definitely agree. I just need to get things sorted with my works, and then when possible we can move to our new residence. Oh, Izuku, just be careful. I know you're incredibly powerful now, but you're still my little cinnamon roll of a baby boy, and do not cause problems for Aizawa. This brought a genuine smile to everyone's lips. Yes, even heartless cold Eraserhead. Hee though I think it was just cause Mom told me not to be a problem child, hee. I will do my best. I can learn what all my powers are and get everything ready to be able to take the exam. But I do make a request, 𝗎𝗂. Many years ago, before Bakugo changed, there was this place. It was so special to me because my mom and dad were happy there. We spent many days there along with the Bakugos. Are you familiar with Dagoba Municipal Beach? It's now a junkyard, but I would enjoy being allowed to clean the beach up. It would help me figure out my strength control as well as allow me to fulfill some community service. Do you think I can do that? This made everyone stop in their tracks. Are you sure, young Midoriya? It is really not necessary. I looked at 𝗎𝗂 and smiled. Exactly. It is not necessary, but the essence of being a hero is service and self-sacrifice. I would be performing a great community service, and I am willing to sacrifice the time to clean it. I want to make people happy. To make them proud. To show kids that even if you become a hero, you need to always be humble and help out when you can. Mom and Ms. Midnight were smile with tears in their eyes. Yes, young Midoriya, I very much agree with you. Very well. But how about this? By my estimate, it will take you only a month or so to clean it, what with your current strength, so how about this? You clean it, and any other areas around 𝗎𝗂 you feel you can get cleaned during the next 10 months. Problem child. I'm amazed at how you suggested it and your reasoning behind it. Both the reason to clean by hand and the end goal of the finished beach. Said Aizawa as he looked on, almost proud of me. Well, I'm being both honest and practical. We all know I need to learn control my strength to prevent damaging or killing any civilians, villains, and the surroundings. Plus, it's the last place I was me before the 𝗓𝗏 diagnosis. I remember being so happy with my parents and the Bakugos. I want to bring that appealing, wondrous place back for them and all those who have memories there. 𝗎𝗂 smiled fondly as my mom and Midnight tackled me in a bone-crushing hug. Mom Midnight. CC can't be breathe. I huff out as I'm starting to turn blue. They let get before each planted a kiss on a cheek. I blushed like a tomato thinking, holy see, Midnight just kissed me. I hear a chirping squeal as I realize that I said that out loud, looking over to see a blush on Midnight's face. Sorry Midoriya-kun, I just got overwhelmed and did it without thinking. I realized that this was the real Nemuri, not Midnight, talking as 𝗎𝗂, Eraserhead, and Recovery Girl howled with laughter. And no, it's fine. Just wasn't expecting it, Midnight-sensei. Anyway, 𝗎𝗂, are we done with all the tests now, or is there more? 𝗎𝗂 then quickly realizes he forgot one of his tests he had for him. Oh, I forgot. Young Midoriya, would you like to help me with something in the conference room for a minute? Eraser and Midnight can show your mom more of the campus while we talk. I smile at Mom and nod, heading off with 𝗎𝗂. We get to the conference room and I feel the mood shift. Young Midoriya, I need your aid with a matter. You see, we found footage of a young girl roughly 5 or 6 years old in distress a few weeks ago. We believe this girl was being taken captive by a Yakuza and haven't been able to find her. Make this request of you. If you ever see this girl, to use all of your power to save her. Please, Izuku Midoriya. I feel this girl is important, but none of us have been successful. Will you accept this task? I stop in my seat and think. Young girl. Does she have white hair, red eyes, and a single horn. 𝗔𝗍𝗧 looked stunned. Why yes, she does, young 𝗧𝗧𝗟. How do you know? Have you seen her? I stop. I look 𝗔𝗧𝗧 in the eyes and tell him of a dream I had the night prior. I was seeing in the alleys near my home a young girl with that description wearing a rag of a dress with bandages on her arms and legs. She was panicking and running round the alleyways looking for help. The sheer terror on her face I felt was not a dream. I asked 𝗧𝗪𝐴 about it, but he wouldn't tell me. He said, "This may be memories from a past owner of a power I gave you or something else. Not to worry, I am sure you will figure it out." But 𝗔𝗍𝗧 smiled. "You have a theory?" I smiled with determination in my eyes. "Yes. I believe it was a premonition. I believe I am to find this girl and save her. I feel it won't be long until I find her. God have mercy on whoever instilled such horrors upon that girl. For I will not hold back. This I promise." 𝗔𝗍𝗧 stands with pride in his face. "I believe you, young 𝗧𝗧𝗟. This is your first test on your path to being a hero. As such, I hope you handle it. Only you and I know of this task. I want to see you do this on your own. Yet if it is too dangerous, I will give you a hero communicator to allow you to contact every hero here in UA. Just in case, I will have Izuku and Vlad King monitor the alleys over Mizudafu every night until either they or you save her. Save her, young 𝗧𝗧𝗟. Prove to the world that quirkless doesn't mean worthless. Prove that you are not a Deku." He handed me the communicator and we shook hands. Well, I shook his paw. He leapt onto my shoulder as we went to find my mom and the teachers. Izuku's POV: my mom and I left UA with huge smiles on our faces, but the whole trip back I can't help but think of my test. Rescue a young girl. No name known. Only by eyesight can I recognize her. Even if 𝗔𝗍𝗧 didn't ask me, I'd lay down my life to save this child. I realize I am angry for some reason more than it's a child. I feel I will be connected to her in some way. My mom snaps me out of my thoughts. "Izuku, I told you once when you were young and you asked me if you could be a hero. Do you remember my words?" I look her in the eyes and smile bright. "I'm sorry you didn't get a quirk, Izuku. But I know you will be a hero. Because you're already my hero. You have no idea just how important those words were that night, Mom. They pushed me through everything. All the torture was worth it because the greatest hero I knew believed in me. That's you, Mom. You have always been my favorite hero. All Might may be a pro and the number one, but in my eyes the greatest hero was 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. This shocked my mom. She let her tears flow as she asked me, how do you know my maiden name?" "I've not told anyone my maiden name since your father all those years ago." I laugh. "Mom, you know just how smart I am. You know I have studied every hero since the dawn of quirks. Do you honestly think I wouldn't put it together that your mom was Paragon?" My mom laughed a bit, remembering her mother. "I wish you could have met her, Izuku. I know my mom would love you." I smiled at this and asks her, "Mom, does she have a grave we can visit, or was she cremated?" Mom thought for a minute before she answered. "She has a grave. I have never been there, as her ex-partner 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and All Might were the ones to bury her in secret. But I'm sure you can get a hold of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, if not All Might, to get the location of it." I smile teary-eyed. "Mom, we will visit her grave. That's a promise." Time skip to 11 p.m. SPOV: huff me run. Eri run, find help. Who help me? Please save me, someone. Save Eri. Izuku's POV: I couldn't sleep. I saw her again. It was more vivid this time. I could even hear her speak. "Save Eri" was the last words I heard before I snapped awake. I went to the bathroom and washed my face. I look in the mirror, staring at my long spiky blue hair, my diamond freckles. I glare at the mirror before silently rushing to my room. No child asks to be tortured. Thank you for my powers, 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟. I will make you proud this night. I will go beyond. Just then my communicator to 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 snapped opened as I entered my room. Young child Izuku 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. What will you do? Will you save the child or run and leave her out on her own? Just then that one message was all it took for me to grab some clothes from the pocket dimension I created with one of my powers. I open my window and as stealthily as possible I leap out. Sorry, Mom, but I may cause problems for Izuku-sensei tonight. I land with a soft thud and quickly search the alleys nearby. After about an hour, I'm ready to give up for the night when I hear a bottle crash on a wall. Rounding the corner, I see a terrifying sight. Come back, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Every time you run, someone is hurt for you and by you. Is that really what you want? Said the tall man in a plague mask wearing gloves and a green jacket with purple fur on it. I stop and watch the man as I received a message in my head. He is looking for her. He seeks 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. This must not happen. Save her, Izuku Midoriya. Do not let him reach her ever again. Use the power you possess. Rescue the girl. Look to the alley on the right. Do you see her? I look in the direction just in time to see 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 run to the end and take a right. As quietly as I can, I bolt in her direction, trying my best to not make a sound. Instead of going in the alley she went down, I bolt down the street in the direction she ran. I hear the pitter-patter of her little bare feet. I'm close. Suddenly a small thing slams into me and falls down. I look down and see those ruby eyes and her horn. Little 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I am Izuku. I came to save you. I see those eyes light up as she reaches up to my hand. I knelt down and grab her into a hug. I will save you, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. No villain will ever get you again. We must go quietly, okay, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I hear her little voice with her broken speech. You save 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧 safe with you. Promise. My heart breaks at her fearful words. I stand up holding her. I will save you, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. No one will hurt you ever again. I turn and fear floods my veins. At the end of the street stood the man with several others. Others, my 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Thank you for finding her for me. I've been searching all night. Come on, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, it's time for bed. He says with malice in his words. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 grabs tighter, shaking to the bone. I clench my jaw and stand tall. Unfortunately, I did not find her before you ever hurt her. Another mental message pops in my head. Defeat Kai Chisaki. Defeat Overhaul. I snarl. Overhaul. Kai Chisaki. Whatever name you go by. Whatever plans you have. Whoever you have with you. They will end now. I will save 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 from you. Leave now and I will let this go. Try and take 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and I will show no mercy. I growled out as I feel 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 catch her breath and stop her tears. I look her in the eyes as she has a fire in them. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 is safe. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 trusts Izuku. Overhaul pulls off his gloves and growls. I will not let you steal my cure. I must use the cure to rid this world of the disease known as quirks. Whoever you are doesn't matter. Kill him. He barks out his order as his men start to rush me. I turn and speed down the street as I grab the hero communicator. I contact all the UA hero staff. Luckily I'm faster than whoever is chasing me, but I need to hide and protect 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 so I can explain the situation. Midoriya-kun, this is midnight. I have your location and I am contacting the others as I drive to you. Keep her safe, young man. She chirped through the communicator. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 is scared, but that fire in her eyes. This girl trusts me. A man she never met. She probably never felt kindness or love. I will not betray her trust. I will not break my promise. Midnight. I will keep her safe. No man, no god, nor devil can take her from me. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 will be saved. Even if it costs my life, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 will be saved. I hear something nearby. Footsteps. They're here, midnight. My battle begins. The battle to save the snowball from the demon crow. I turn and see two men. One stands with a white shirt, an oversized bird mask with mouth visible. He is rolling his shoulders as he clenches his knuckle-duster-covered fists. My name's Rappa. Glad to meet you, but the girl comes with us. You a real man? You gonna fight for her? Or you gonna run some more? I stand and smirk as my hair flows. Sorry, but 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 is coming with me. You want your answer, then come at me. Rappa smiles and lunges forward, only to catch a right cross to the face, sending him launching backwards. Before I can step forward, a gold barrier is formed. Sorry, but this isn't negotiable, boy. That girl comes with us. I don't even bother getting this fool's name. I place my fist in front of the shield and smile. I flick my middle finger forward, completely shattering the barrier. Just as Rappa is back on his feet. I no shields, I'm gonna beat him to death. He roared as he charged me again. Keeping 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 in my left arm, I viciously throw punches with my diamante hand. He dodged barely, but I see the shield guy behind him. He placed another barrier forcing me to back up. I snarl, so you plan to waste time with your little shields and pathetic punches. Sorry, but you two just lost this fight, Rappa. I pee back my fist and throw a haymaker, blowing up the shield and blasting them both back into a wall. I turn around and start running down another alley. I can hear others nearby and getting close. Suddenly something flies past my head. The roar of the gunfire rang out as I hear a voice. What's your name, boy? I turn around and without meaning to tell them, 𝗧𝗜𝗓𝗏, suddenly it clicks. You can make people tell you anything they know by use of your quirk, can't you? The cloaked masked man laughs. Why yes. I am 𝗔𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗍𝗏. Quirk confession. I'm the master's right hand and I've come for the girl. What is your quirk, Izuku? I growl my response. Quirkless. But about to take the right hand of overhaul. This angered Minamoto as he raised the barrel, but in a flash I fly forward with a push kicked and send him flying. I can hear him start to push the rubble when I turn and try to run, only to stop in my tracks. A giant with a full head bird mask stands before me alongside Overhaul and another with a white cloak. This ends now. Give me back my cure. Or die. What will it be? He asked with venom. How about no, big bird? I see the rage begin to build in Overhaul's eyes. The massive man dives at me before I can feel his quirk pulling energy from me as he began to increase in size. Well, Big Bird, seems you got a glutton on the team. In a blur of motion I uppercut the giant as Overhaul grabs the ground, causing it to explode. But the ground didn't just explode. Huge spikes come flying at Eri. Now I am pissed. You didn't even try to target me, Overhaul. You tried to kill a 5-year-old. I see the type you are. You demand to cure quirks but willingly use them yourselves. Hypocrisy knows no bounds. Angered, I stand up and reach into the pocket dimension. I pulled out 2 massive 55-kilogram swords. Then tell Eri to hang on as I pulled out 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, setting Eri on my back. Guess he got nervous as he screamed for his partner to freaking shoot Eri. I reached down and grabbed his giant and launched him at the 2 men. Overhaul was able to dodge the man missile, but the other guy caught him flush in the face, knocking him out. Overhaul snarled at me as I hear footsteps running from behind me. Quickly I dashed to the side so as not to be surrounded. I looked at the man who came running and it was Minamoto. I raised my massive swords and point one at each man. Confession and bullets will not work on me, Minamoto. These blades of mine can't even be affected by Overhaul. I have reached the limits of my patience for you Yakuza thugs. Both men freeze for a second before Minamoto fires his gun at me. I raise the blade in my right hand as I hear Overhaul use his quirk to send the spikes. I growled and charged energy in my comet sword in the left hand, slashing upwards. The blade launched a beam at the spikes, surprising both opponents. Minamoto, you said he was quirkless. How did he do that? Roared an angry Overhaul. Minamoto tried to respond but was busy dodging my attack with the dintral blade. I slowly was able to line myself up, so was standing facing both opponents head on. I keep saying it but you refuse to listen. I will save Eri. I saw Overhaul try to rush Minamoto and I sent out another beam from the comet sword, smashing into Minamoto, blasting him into the wall. Overhaul, standing nearby, screamed as he reached down, grabbing Minamoto's mask and using his quirk on him. In a blast of energy, Overhaul fused with Minamoto, growing 2 more arms out of his back, looking like a demon. Well, you may have bested us separately, but now I'm twice as strong. See if you can keep me from taking back my cure. I will kill you and take her from here. Eri was starting to shiver, but I looked back with a smile. He may have the power of 2. But Eri, I have the power of 10. Eri was blown away by my words. Her eyes grew wide and that inner fire was lit even more. I smirk at Overhaul as he looked even more furious. I try to rush him and use the sword techniques to launch blade beams at Overhaul, but he was able to block the beams and ride the blast back, but not entirely unscathed, as he lost the new arms and quickly used his quirk to regrow them. Breathing ragged, he snarled at him. You may be strong, boy. But what will do now? Before I could react, he used his quirk on the giant and I was blown back by the energy released to fuse the 3 men together. Midnight POV, me, Aizawa, and Mike are driving fast to reach that brave boy when suddenly a huge energy blast I barely managed to keep us on the road. We looked up and, holy 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘, is that a goddamn kaiju? Screamed Mike with his quirk. Me and 𝗧𝗏𝗧 look up and I simply said, yep, because not 2 blocks ahead of us a giant goddamn kaiju stood. We found problem child, said 𝗧𝗏𝗧 bluntly. We jumped out of the car and ran to the fight. Izuku's POV, oh come the F on. Overhaul in his sheer insanity morphed into a huge as F kaiju. Now is 𝗧𝗬𝗧𝗟𝗘 time to give my cure back to me. I'm through with your games, brat. 𝗧𝗍 belongs to me. He roared as I stood there with my blades in hand. Out of the corner of my eye I see the UA teachers. I smiled. 𝗧𝗍, look to the left. You see those 3 coming here? They're my friends. I'm going to set you down. You run to them. They will protect you. I promise I will stop Overhaul and come to you. I will not betray your trust or break my promise. To beat Overhaul I need you to go to then. Will you do that for me, Snowball? 𝗧𝗍 stops breathing for a second but looks at me with the inner fire still lit. They protect 𝗧𝗍. They let 𝗧𝗬𝗧𝗟𝗘 beat Overhaul. I nod as I open the 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏. They will not let anyone hurt you, Snowball. And if you go to them, 𝗧𝗏 will defeat Overhaul and save 𝗧𝗍. With those words 𝗧𝗍 stood tall and bolted towards midnight. I look at Overhaul and smile as I start to fly into the air. Surprising me, the teachers, Overhaul and 𝗧𝗍. I told you 𝗧𝗍 I have the powers of 10. Overhaul's 3 will never defeat me. I blasted off full speed. I started to glow a brilliant blue with energy radiating off me. I started to slash the first part one could see as Overhaul roared taking swings at me. I blasted a few blade beams at him as I circled him in the night sky. Overhaul, you will never get your hands on her ever again. 𝗧𝗍 is under my protection. No man, no god, no devil, no villains will ever get their hands on my Snowball again. I roared as I placed the swords back in the pocket dimension and raised both hands, lightning web of decimation. I yelled at the top of my lungs as massive bolts of blue and white lightning shoot out and arc all over the huge form of Overhaul. He screamed as the bolts began to tighten around him, burning and blowing away huge chunks of flesh from the kaiju. Overhaul screamed as he started changing his form in an effort to escape the web. I released my attack and let my energy flare up around me. I began to form a massive ball of energy in front of me. This won't kill you, Overhaul. But I wouldn't want to be in your skin for the next 35 years. As I smiled and threw a punch at the energy ball, screaming out, 𝗧𝗪𝗓𝗏 beam of torment, the blue-white ball suddenly turned into a giant laser beam pouring out from in front of me. I was able to aim the blast to Overhaul's chest and used it to blast him down into the road, but he was somehow fighting through the pain and tried to stand. I flew down and with both fists facing forward as a sonic boom went off, I blast both fists straight into his face. Finally I landed on the ground. I turned to face Overhaul with my pocket dimension open just in case. I see Overhaul laying on the ground with both his men laying nearby. From behind me I hear both 𝗧𝗍 and Midnight scream my name. I hollered back, I'm okay, Midnight Sensei. Snowball, I kept my promise. Overhaul will never lay a hand on you ever again. The teachers came running up just as the police and other heroes started showing up. It was only then I heard it. Oh, that's a helicopter. Oh fuckity ff, that is a news chopper. How long were they here? Izuku must have figured out what was going on as he used his scarf to drag me to them, as he told me and Midnight to get to her car and take 𝗧𝗍 to you. He and Mike will handle the media and police. Never doubted you for a second, child 𝗧𝗬𝗧𝗟𝗘. Now go take care of your Snowball. I froze. Wait, what? Midnight, not wasting a second, grabbed my hand and pulled me in a run to her car as fast as we could go. Way to go, handsome. You saved your Snowball, said Midnight as she pulled me into a hug. It took exactly 0.0000001 for me to realize she pulled me face first into her bub. Midnight Sensei, I shout, trying to get her attention as 𝗧𝗍 was burying her face into my chest as she was hugging me. 𝗧𝗬𝗧𝗟𝗘, save 𝗧𝗍 like 𝗧𝗬𝗧𝗟𝗘 promise. She choked out through her tear-filled eyes. Midnight suddenly realized the reason for my shout. She let me go, and with a blush as she turned on her car and we sped off to you, yelled out, Sorry Izuku, but you can't say you didn't enjoy that, laughing as my face turned a new shade of red never before seen. Without thinking as I hugged 𝗧𝗍, I replied, True, but next time least warn me before you force me into your bub. I immediately stop and turn to face her. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Midnight blushing as well. And next time. Who says there's gonna be a next time? At that moment for some reason my brain decided this was the appropriate time to say F you and shut off. Last thing I remember was literally falling over face first and feeling something soft on my face. Midnight's PV right after I teased him, poor Midoriya passed smooth out, which wouldn't have bothered me so much except for the fact he fell face first into my melons. Seriously, did he plan that? Nah, he is blushing so hard it wouldn't be a plan. Though to be honest, I didn't really mind it. Enjoyed it eventually. Eri, still bear hugging Midoriya-kun, looked at me and asked, "Why Izuku sleep on Night Lady chest?" And now I am back to Crimson. Just great. I slow down and pull over for a second and adjust how he is in the seat. He's just really tired. Fighting Overhaul and his crew took a lot out of him, Eri. But he's okay, I promise. Thankfully that seemed to calm Eri down, though I think she's holding on to him so strong even All Might couldn't separate them. I set Midoriya-kun up in his seat better and then we set course for UA again. Though my plan was more of a temporary solution than a success. As the first turn and he fell yet again onto my shoulder and melons. Geez, it's like he's got a lock on them. I mumbled out, making the very sleepy Eri laugh. 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 chest pillows. It took all of 5 seconds for me to comprehend what she said. Am I GG guess so, Eri? He hope he's enjoying his napap. I stammer out as I try to ignore his breath blowing between my melons. Every bump and turn gives it the same effect as if he was motorboating me. I try to not let any moans out loud enough for the little angel to hear. Cursing my hero personality for even knowing what motorboating was. I unfortunately hit a big bump and his head bounces up enough that Midoriya-kun's mouth falls open. When we landed, I am loud from a sensation on my melons and peak downward. Somehow he bit my DMN-NPL. Not hard, but enough it was making my thighs rub together. Sigh, just a few more blocks. Hold out, Nem. You can do it. I mean, people must think I have 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 with my stupid hero persona. But unless Nisa's intuition was wrong, I guess that Midoriya-kun also knows I'm actually still a virgin. This is the first time I have ever been in this situation. As usually the people I tease as Midnight get so embarrassed or shy they devolve into sputtering messes or just run. I didn't actually think Midoriya would wind up face deep in my bub with his mouth currently wrapped on one of my nipples. Keep it together, Nem. I'm almost there. I keep telling myself. Before I suddenly realize it sounded like actual orgasms and not literally being almost to you. Eri's POV: the Night Lady drove Izuku and me to a big building. Izuku stayed asleep on the Night Lady's chest pillows, but Eri didn't mind. I get to hug Izuku whole drived. I feel the cries fall from my eyes, but no why. Night Lady. Why do Eri eyes make cries whole drived when me hug Izuku? Felt big bump as Eri heard Night Lady make weird sound when Izuku bited her chest pillows. Weird, I thought. Night Lady for some reason has red face when Eri hears say, "Well, Angel, Izuku saved you. Those cries or tears that keep coming is from you being happy. Now we're going to UA, which is a school for heroes that I teach at. My name is Nemuri Kayama, or hero name is Midnight. What's your last name, Eri?" Nemyumu say to me. I shaked my head. Eri not know Nemyumu. Eri always call just Eri. I not knowed what last name means. Not know what hero is. Eri sorry. Not want make mad at Eri. Me not teach things by Overhaul, me just feel hurties when Overhaul touch Eri with hand. Say sadly. Me not want make Zuku's friends mad. They might hurty Eri too like Overhaul. Before hear Nemyumu say, "It's alright, Eri. You did nothing wrong. We will get you looked at by our nice nurse and doctor to make sure you are okay." Oh, that reminds me, Eri. The nurse I called earlier is actually Zuku's mom. I'm sure she will be so glad to hear her baby boy saved you. Not know what a mom is, but she must be friends with Izuku. If Izuku trusts them, Eri trust them too. Eri not knowed what mom is, but if they are nice friend of Izuku, Eri trust too. But will Izuku be with Eri while see news and Docto? I look up at Nemyumu as she make lips go up. She say to Eri, "Well, little Eri, a mom is a woman who either gives birth to someone or finds and decides to take care of them. They are loving and kind and teach you while helping you feel safe and happy." Eri not knowed what a safe and happy or even a loving is, but a mom sound nice. Are you Eri's mom? Midnight's POV. It took all my strength to not faint when Eri asked me if I was her mom. I smile and blush as I try to ask what makes her ask if I am her mom. Eri just looked up at me and said with the tiny corners of her mouth barely twitching, which must have been her attempt to smile. Which saddened and angered me at what overhaul must have put this little angel in such a state. Well, Nemimu is woman who make me feel safe when Zuka fighted big overhaul. Is not good for Eri to say you mom. Again I feel my heart working overtime trying not to faint. Well Eri, right now we do not know who your mom is. But we have all the time in the world to learn. Oh Eri, look ahead. Do you see this big building coming up? This is you. We should head to the medical wing. Let's see if can wake up Zuku to walk us to the infirmary. I slowly pull into the lot and park in my usual spot. Once again I sit Midoriya-kun up and touch his face as I tell him we are at you. It must have worked as he suddenly started to try to speak. A Midnight Sensei. We're here. At UA. It takes a minute for him to remember the events that lead us here. Oh, we're here. Hey Eri, this is UA High School where Midnight and the other heroes she came with work. Before I could speak, Eri real excited spoke up. Zuki, you wake. Did you like sleeping on Nemimu chest pillows? And just like that she broke him. Did I wah. I quickly get out of the car and try to get their attention with a cough. Eri, are you ready to see the nurse and doctor? Which did get their attention, but apparently Midoriya had forgotten some details. Midnight Sensei, did you say nurse? I smile and nod my head. Great. Mom's gonna wring my neck. Izuku's POV. I wasn't expecting to learn my mom was here too. I sigh and get out of the car as I carry Eri and follow Midnight to the infirmary to get Friday checked out health-wise. It didn't take long to get there and I sat down on one of the beds as Eri kept looking around the room. When I hear the door behind me open and turn to see Mom and Recovery Girl and try to smile. Hi Mom, hee. This is little Eri. I attempt to divert Mom's attention to keep myself somehow alive so Eri can get checked out. Izuku, we have a lot to discuss after we inspect Eri. Mom said with a cold fury making my spine shiver. Yes, Memthu. Least she didn't yell. They slowly approached us and asked if they could examine Eri. UPP promise not hurt Eri. Why you friend of Zuku? Eri stuttered out, holding me tighter. Eri, the green-haired woman, is my mother and the off-2R is Recovery Girl. They will never hurt, I promise. This seemed to calm her down, so she nodded her head as they started to examine her. I stayed right beside her, which was a good thing, as when Recovery Girl asked to remove Eri's bandages, she started having a panic attack. I hugged her tighter and reassured her I was right there and no harm would come to her. She nodded her head as she let Recovery Girl remove the bandages. It wasn't long before we realized why the bandages, as her arm was covered in dozens of scars. Recovery Girl's face hardened. Eri, do you have scars on both your arms and legs? Eri frowned as tears started to pour from her. She nodded and said, Eri have marks all over. Arm, leg and body. Eri hates them. We all frowned and my mom started crying as I said to Eri, Eri, I need to step behind the curtain so they can check all the scars. I will not leave the room, and as soon as they're done and you're covered I will step back out and sit beside you again. Eri looked worried, but then Midnight spoke up. Eri, I'll sit beside so you won't be alone. It will be over before you know it. Just Izuku needs to give you privacy so we can examine your body. Eri calmed down and nodded as I stepped behind the curtain. I tried to relax as tears started to fall when I received another mental message. Human Izuku Midoriya, do not be angry. You have earned a new power with your actions. I will give you the powers of the greatest healers. You will be able to heal anyone you touch, and this will allow you to even remove the scars from your snowball. I know she will appreciate it and it will greatly help to restore her damaged mind. Take heart, child Izuku. You prove to everyone that you are really a hero this night. I and all those with you are very proud of you. I smiled at this, calming down. Thank you, Deku. Thank you so much. Not only for giving me the powers and believing in me, but for allowing me to save that appealing child. I will die before I ever let anyone hurt her ever again. I could feel pride in Deku as he said, You're welcome, child Izuku. I know you will never make me regret giving you these powers. Stay strong 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 and never lose your will. I must return to monitoring your world. Bye for now. We will speak again soon. I smiled as I began to glow a soft green. My mom had come over just in time to see that. Izuku. Are you alright? I looked at her with a bright smile. Yes, Mom. I just got gifted a power that will greatly help my little snowball and her scars. My mom realized right away I said, my snowball, and smiled back at me before saying, well, I was hoping to wait for a grandbaby, but I wouldn't mind if you adopted her. I blushed a bit as we heard Recovery Girl give the okay for me to step out from the curtain. I smile and exchange seats with Midnight. Eri, you remember how I said I have the powers of 10 people inside me? Eri grabbed me in a tight hug and nodded as I continued. Well, the being who gave me 10 just gave me another one. Tell me, Eri, would you like to get the scars removed if you had the chance? Her eyes opened wide as dinner plates as tears shot out. Why yes, Zuku. I hugged her back and looked at Recovery Girl for permission to heal Snowball's scars. If you really can, young Midoriya, I will allow it. I flash a million-watt smile as I put a hand on each of Eri's cheeks and we both began to glow a soft green. Eri looked at her arms as all of her scars began to fade away. Her eyes flooding with tears, she hugged me as tight as could as I finished healing her scars. See, Eri, I will do anything to make sure you are happy and safe. Recovery Girl, can you all check her body again to make sure I got rid of all the scars? I asked trading places with Midnight again as I looked as all 3 women were crying alongside Eri. Yes, young man. Even if you didn't get rid of them all, what you just did will help Eri far more than anything I could do. I smiled and stepped behind the curtain once more. My mom right beside me. Izuku, thank you. Thank you for keeping that kind heart. If I ever meet Dagoya, I would like to give him my thanks for all he has done for us. I hugged Mom as I received a note from Thin Air. Child Izuku Midoriya. Tomorrow I would like to bring you and your mother and little Eri to my ship to meet your family. Give this note your mother and tell her it's because of her raising you that you have become so kind and strong. I smiled, feeling the note materialize in my hand, and let out a soft chuckle. Then handed the note to Mom. As she read it, tears flooded out of her eyes. Yes. I'm sure we will enjoy meeting Dagoya tomorrow. Right as Izuku was given the okay to sit beside Eri again, the door to the infirmary opened as Aizawa entered with Nizu on his shoulder. Izuku sat down as Eri hugged him again. She was scared but recognized Aizawa, and she had Izuku who rescued her from overhaul. So she knew she would be safe. Hello, little Eri. I am Principal Nizu. Nice to meet you. Eri looked at Nizu as she said, Nice to meet you too, Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man, bringing a shocked look to Nizu's face as they all heard Aizawa break into a laughing fit, causing all in the room to have a minor mental break. Aizawa, make it known that all staff shall refer to me as Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man unless told otherwise. Now it was Aizawa's turn for a mental break. Why yes, sir, Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man, he replied, still with a shocked expression on his face. Turning back to face Eri, he continued. Thank you, Eri. As I was saying, it was me who gave young Midoriya the mission to save you. As such, I have come with another mission for him and Ms. Inko as well if they are willing to take it. Eri blushed as she said, Titi, thank you for tell Zuka to save me, Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man. Everyone smiled as Nizu spoke. You're welcome, young Eri. Now Ms. Inko and Mr. Midoriya. Due to the circumstances, I would like to ask you both if you'd be willing to take care of little Eri from now on until we find her family. If she has any, that is. As she seems awfully attached to young Midoriya, and since we have no knowledge of her family. Without missing a beat, I spoke up. I will. I could never abandon my snowball, and she deserves to be happy and safe. To learn to smile again and trust humanity. I've said these words before and I'll say them once again. No man, no god, no devil, no villain. No one will ever hurt her again. That I promise. Hearing the conviction in my voice, everyone smiled warmly as Mom spoke up. I'm Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man. I mean Nizu, sir. Would it be alright if we not only got adoption papers but if Izuku was to be granted them as her father? This shocked the staff as it was never thought that I would be the parent, but Nizu laughed and said, Why yes, I think I can pull some strings to allow that. Now Ms. Inko, would you and Aizawa come with me to get the papers? They left the room, leaving the rest of us finish the examination. Midnight quickly pulled both me and Eri into a huge hug. "You are Midnight Sensei," I said as we heard her start to cry. "I'm so proud of you, Midoriya-kun. You not only saved this little angel, but you're even going to be her new dad. That is an awfully big task, but from your words and conviction I know you will do fine." Now it was Eri's turn to speak. "What does father mean?" Before I could speak, Midnight replied. "Eri, you remember what I told you a mother was? Well, a father is the same thing, but it's a man instead of a girl." Eri started crying with stars in her eyes. "Zuko wants to take care of Eri. Zuko, you won't be Eri's father." I smiled brightly as I answered her. "Yes, Eri, I rather think I would like that very much. I'll be your new papa for as long as you want me to be. No matter what, I will watch over you and protect you for the rest of our lives." Eri cried some more as Recovery Girl wrote a few things down for me and Mom to get to help Eri's diet and weight. It wasn't long after that Mom and Aizawa returned while Nizu stayed behind to do some more paperwork. "Izuku, I know I may have been rash in suggesting you become her father, and you don't have to if you don't want. But you sign this paper and the 𝗧𝗪𝗧 family will bring into it this adorable unicorn." I smiled as I grabbed the paper and signed it, though we got looks as Aizawa spoke. "𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟." My mom blushed as she spoke up. Why yes. You see, my maiden name is 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟. The late heroine Nana 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏, hero name Paragon, was my mother. This surprised everyone. As I was next to speak. "Does that mean we are changing our family name, Mom?" Mom thought it over for a moment before saying, "Yes. After we get settled in and have gotten Eri a new set of clothes and everything, we will go change our family name to 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏. How does that sound?" I smiled as I picked Eri up into a hug as she was slowly falling asleep. "Wonderful, Mom. I'm sure we will make her proud. I think it's time we head home and put little Eri to bed." We all smiled as Midnight led us to her car. "Man, the next few days are gonna be hectic. But I'm now the happiest man on Earth." Daigoya's POV. I smiled as I checked on the Earth. Seems human Izuku Midoriya, or soon to be 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏, is finally living the life he deserves. Also, what's this I see? I began to focus on several human females in Japan as they all began to emit a soft green-blue glow in their sleep. I smiled. Well, seems the 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 family will be rather large. I chuckled to myself. Be ready, Izuku. Your life will be one of legend. Later that night. Midnight's POV. I was so impressed not only at Midoriya-kun's power, but his heart and willingness to go the extra mile. I laid in bed unable to sleep. I just couldn't stop thinking about his words when he yelled at Overhaul before his final attacks. He meant every word. My word, this young boy was willing to fight devils and gods for the safety of a child he hardly knows. I see now why Nizu is so impressed by him. I sigh as I sit up in bed. It's like I'm a teenager again. Unable to sleep thinking about boys. It's mind-numbing, the determination and willpower in such a young man. From what he's told us about his past, if I ever find the fool of a hero who crushed his dreams, they're never gonna find the body. That kindness and strength of heart is rare. Surely that stupid hero had to have seen it. Yet, to call him a worthless, useless freak and just write him off over his quirk status. That prick deserves to suffer a lifetime of pain and misery. I get up and check the phone. It's already 3 a.m. I know I need to sleep, but I just can't. The events of the past 2 days keep playing in my head. From watching the footage of the sludge villain incident to meeting Midoriya-kun to that battle of wills and ideals with Overhaul, to him adopting that angel. No, not the hugs and him falling asleep on my bub. Definitely not thinking of that at all. Nope, you're not buying it, are you, Nemuri? Oh, who the F am I kidding? Yes, I'm thinking about that. I can't get it out of my head. I know I'm way older than him, but those actions made me feel safe and felt like for the first time since PBRY as someone might actually be interested in me. The real me and not Midnight. Especially after Eri so sweetly and innocently asked that question. So are you my mom? Oh, how my heart sang. I nearly fainted. Still not sure how I kept it together. I know she didn't understand what exactly she was asking, but I won't lie, I would love to be a mother someday. Especially to that adorable little angel. You got it bad, Nemuri. I said to no one. It's fine, I'll deal. At most he'll only be like my little brother, right? He couldn't possibly really like 𝗔𝗎𝗓. But he also didn't seem to like the midnight personality. Just who are you underneath it all, Izuku? Midoriya. Or rather 𝗔𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I lay down as the thoughts run round my head. Before I knew it, I felt sleep try to take me, but I swear I heard this voice in my head. He is the greatest hero of all. Someone you will know for the rest of your life. The next day. Izuku's POV. I wake up as the sun's rays dance across my eyes. Yawning, I go to sit up, but an unfamiliar weight on my chest makes me stop and snap my eyes open. Down on my chest in one of my old hoodies is little 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, my daughter. So it wasn't just a dream. She looks so cute sleeping as the sun filters through her hair. I reach down and pat her head. I will make you smile again someday, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. The threads of despair shall be torn asunder. Overhaul will never hurt you again. I look over at my clock as it read 9 a.m. I then speak up, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. Time to wake up, 𝗧𝗏𝗏. As I slide her hair. Her little eyes slowly open up as I see her start to yawn. But once they do, she starts to panic a bit as I just reach down and hug onto her. It's okay, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. You're safe. No one will hurt you here. She relaxes as her ruby eyes recognize me. It wasn't a dream. You really save 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. You really 𝗧𝗓𝗧's new papa. She tries to say with her broken speech. I smile. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I'm your new papa and you will always be safe. We need to wake up though and get you cleaned up. Plus I have a special someone that you and Grandma need to meet with me today. She gets shocked and quietly asks me, Is they good people? They be and nice to 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. I smile to hide the rage from the damage Overhaul did to 𝗧𝗓𝗧's mind. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. We will meet Deku. He's the one who gave me all my powers. It's thanks to him that I was able to be strong enough to save you. The reaction from adorable little 𝗧𝗓𝗧 was appealing. 𝗧𝗱𝗧𝗟𝗘, my grandpa. I laugh a bit as I say, well, not exactly. As Deku is not like all of us 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧. He is as old as the universe itself. He is more like an immortal watcher, who watches millions of planets. But if you want to view him as your grandpa, I am sure he wouldn't mind. 𝗧𝗓𝗧 looks a bit sad at first, but she slowly figures it out. So 𝗧𝗓𝗧 asks Deku if call him grandpa. Yes, she's stuck on that. Just then I receive a mental notice. I don't mind human Izuku Midoriya. While I may not be human and may not be the best to be her grandfather figure, I will gladly allow it. I smile brightly. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, guess what Deku just told me? I ask as she looks confused. How he tell you when 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 is talk you, not Deku? I smiled. Well, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 Deku can speak to me in my head. He told me while he may not be a human, he will gladly let you call him grandpa. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧's eyes brighten up. As tears start to fall. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 feel nice. What 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗧 do to get so many family? I hug her and said, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, what you did was something very few could ever accomplish in this or any world. You survived. You stood tall with me to survive Overhaul and his evil. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘's mouth twitches a bit as she still can't smile, but I can see she's happy. I stand up as I walk 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 to the bathroom to get her teeth brushed and bathe. But stop her for a second. Wait, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, we need Grandma to give you your bath. I will be right outside, so don't worry. As Mom was walking up to the bathroom, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 nods her head as she sees her. I step outside and wait by the door. It was both cute and sad that every 5 seconds she had to ask if I was still there, but I understood her reasoning. After all, she doesn't have many people she trusts and has lived a life fraught with pain. As they finish their bath, Mom brings 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 to me and we show her a box that Midnight gave me last night. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, this is a gift from Midnight Sensei for you. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks on wide-eyed as it seems she's never really gotten a gift before. What is it? I smile. Well, I know what it is, but it is better if you open it and see for yourself. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 walks up and puts her little hand on the box. It's okay, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 opens. I smile as I knelt beside her and me and Mom put a hand on each of her shoulders. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I promise it's okay. Midnight said so. She slowly grabs the lid and starts to lift it off. Once she takes the lid off, she stares, eyes full of wonder. It's so pretty, sniff. Mama Nemu gave 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 dress, thank you, Papa. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 like it? She says as she cries. This time Mom spoke up. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, how about we get you dressed and take pictures and we call Nemuri so you can thank her. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looked floored, she didn't think they could do that. She couldn't speak, just nod her head so fast. I smiled as I left the room. Okay, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Grandma is going to get you dressed up, then we will do precisely that, I said with a smile. Papa, Grandma say you come and see 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 now. I hear her adorable little voice say. I open the door and have to grab my heart at the cutest sight this world's ever seen. She is looking at her little feet and shuffling in the clothes, nervous for my reaction. Wow. I think, Grandma, we just adopted an actual angel. You look so appealing, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. We definitely need pictures and to thank Midnight Sensei, I say, trying my best not to shout. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks stunned as her head shoots up to see me. She's blushing so hard. Papa, mean it? 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 beautiful? She asks, her voice full of hope as Mom stands beside me taking pics of 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, I mean it. I would never lie to you. You're a appealing little snowball, that's true. Overhaul never saw you for you, but I see you for who you are and who you're going to be. You're my appealing daughter. I could see the new mix of emotions on her face. Still not smiling but blushing, and her eyes so full of pride in her new papa and belief in her beauty. Papa, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 so happy to have you, she says, doing her best to convey what she means. I smile as I reach down to pick her up. It's okay to be happy, especially when it's from truth, I say as I look to Mom, who has teary eyes. Oh, that's right. We need to call Nemuri and let 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 thank her, she says as she starts looking through her phone. She then takes it and video calls Midnight Sensei. It rings a couple times before it gets accepted. Hi, Inko, she stops suddenly seeing 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I smile seeing the look on her face. Hi, Midnight Sensei. We got 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 in the dress you gave her and she wanted to say something, I said as Midnight still looks stunned. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks from me to Grandma and then to Midnight. Mama Nemyamu thank for 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 gift. Papa and Grandma say it make 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 look beautiful. She stretches the word out to say it properly, with that same hopeful expression. Well, your Papa and Grandma are right. You look so appealing, little 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Just like an angel. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 blushes again as Midnight wipes away a few tears. Really think so, Mama Nemyamu? She asks, needing to be reassured. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. You really do. I can't wait to see you again so can give you lots of hugs, you precious angel, she says. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, still a blushing mess, joins in the tears and nods her head. When we do, will that make Mama Nemyamu 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘's new mama for real? She asks innocently. I smile, then realize, wait, she said mama? Both me and Midnight are having slight mental breakdowns. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, I think you broke them, said my mom, trying and failing to hold in her laughter. Mama. Midnight somehow gets out as I am still about halfway through the reboot process. She smiles and switches to her Midnight personality in order to work through it. That depends on Midoriya-kun, she says lustfully as she licks her lips. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Thanks, Midnight, now I'm only having 300 heart attacks. I growl in my head before I get an idea. Yes, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, that makes her Mama Nemuri, I say, taking it another step up to try and get a hold of the situation that I will probably never get a hold of. Isn't that right, honey? Midnight stops moving, then falls off screen. I look to Mom to hear her mom voice. Izuku, Midoriya, don't tease her now. Taking the very adult and matured stance, I say, she started it. As I stick out my tongue, we hear a strangely new sound coming from the bundle of sunshine in my arms. They're plain as day is 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, a smiling, giggling 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I froze as two thoughts enter my head. OMG, she's so freaking adorable, and that I just doomed myself. Why do I say things? Midnight seems to regain her composure and bolts up to look at the sight. Oh my word. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, you have her appealing smile and such a cute laugh, she shouts, unable to contain herself. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 looks confused for a second but giggles again. Thanks, Mama, she says innocently. We all look at each other before Mom takes control. Okay, Nemuri. We need to meet someone, but thank you so much for the gift and we definitely need to talk later, she says with a mischievous grin as me and Midnight both pale. It's no problem, Inko. Well, I need to get BB back to work. Bye everyone. Talk to you later, she squeals out as she cuts call. After that I grab my communicator to contact Daigoya's ship. Okay, is everyone ready so I can contact Daigoya and get us there? I ask as Mom and Eri look at each other, then me with determined eyes and nod their heads. 𝗧𝗪𝗧, we are ready for travel to your ship now if you are. I say as the communicator chirps. Suddenly the three of us are wrapped in a blinding white light as we are transported to his ship. 𝗧𝗪𝗧's POV, the light dies down as I see Izuku and his mother and new daughter. I decorated the ship a bit for their arrival. A welcome sign, as I saw humans do that a lot. Also gifts set out for the two females. Welcome to my ship, human Izuku Midoriya, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟, and granddaughter Eri. I say in my kindest voice. To see the three look at me. 𝗏𝗏 and Friday are in awe at my form. 12 feet tall, solid blue with silver hair and eyes. As even on Earth with its quirks, I am a sight they never imagined seeing. Hi 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟. That's right, this is my mother and Eri. Says Izuku, mainly in an effort to make the two females regain their senses. Hello Grandpa 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟, said Eri, trying to stay calm. I smile at her. Yes, my human granddaughter. I do like your outfit Ms. Midnight gave you. You look very appealing. I say as she blushes and smiles. Thanks Grandpa, she blurts out. I smile again. Before looking at 𝗏𝗏. It's an honor to meet you, Ms. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏. Thank you for raising such a fine young human as Izuku. I already can see that I will never regret giving him those powers. But also I too have gifts for you both. I say as I point to the table with the boxes. Eri is in awe. She has a new family and has gotten more gifts in this one day than in her last 5 years. She looks to her new father and asks, is it okay? Eri opens. Izuku Midoriya smiles at her before looking at me. I nod as he leans down to set Eri down to look at her new gift. 𝗏𝗏, looking so happy, also walks over to Eri. She smiles at me and I can tell she wants to talk, but she also wants Eri to be the focus right now. Eri reaches out and grabs her gift. She lifts the lid and finds both the stuffed animal and stuffed Izuku toy I created for her. Her eyes open wide and her smile is so radiant it could count as a new sun. Wow Grandpa 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟, it's so fluffy. What are they? I smile. Well Eri, they're very special. The stuffed animal is a rabbit. But it's also so much more. In times of trouble it can transform into a big animal to protect you from dangers if you are ever alone and need it. The Izuku toy is also more than a toy. It will allow you to talk to him in your minds. Also it has a feature to teleport him to you that can be activated only when trouble is near. That way to avoid both of you accidentally warping him. On the back you will see there's a small symbol. Touch that real quick Eri. I say as she reaches to the symbol. Suddenly a brilliant blue light envelopes her. After it dims we see Eri standing in a suit of armor that is weightless but also nearly unbreakable. Wow Eri wear metal. She says as I explain it. This Eri is the Aegis armor. It will grow with you and has no weight. It is almost invincible, so it can protect you from almost any danger. They all look at me with wide eyes as both 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Izuku Midoriya bow their heads and thank me for the gifts for little Eri. Grandpa 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 want Eri stay safe. Eri so happy. She exclaims with that radiant smile. I laugh. Yes Eri, I do. Because you are very important. Not just to me but to your family. We would all be very sad if you ever get hurt. Hopefully with these gifts that you should always take with you it can keep you safe. Eri looks at me, then runs over and does what humans call hugs my leg. I was surprised but I knelt down and returned the hug. Thank Grandpa 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟, she says while blushing and tears falling. I smile and whisper to her, it's our job to keep you safe Eri. You are just as important to this universe as your father. We will all do whatever is needed to keep you safe. She nods her head as 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 speaks. Mr. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, sir. Thank you for everything you've done for my family. We will forever be in your debt. She says with a bow. I smile and say to her. You've already repaid me. There's no debts, human 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. I have sought someone like Izuku Midoriya for thousands of years. Already he has proven me right in trusting him. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 with teary eyes thanked me again before I spoke. Also I'm certain you will like the gift I have for you as well. She then remembers that and slowly reaches for it. As she opens the gift, Izuku Midoriya stands beside me as Eri poses in her armor and we watch. As the box opens, a strange wind lifts 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 off the ground. She looks surprised and has yet to see the gift. When I spoke, "Yes, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. That is part of it. I gave you a stronger version of your mother's quirk. Instead of float it is fly." She looks around, tears pouring down as she decides to look in her box. Inside is a cube with 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 face on it. She reaches out and suddenly throughout the ship music plays as the cube lights up. Holograms showing all her memories with her mother filling the room. This 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 was the second part of your gift. Anytime you wish you can grab the cube and relive all your memories of your mother. Even memories of you as a baby can be viewed. I see both mother and son start to shed tears. TT, thank you so much, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 These are the best gifts I've ever gotten besides the gift of Izuku. She says as I smile. Your words honor me so. I knew nothing I could give could be as grand a gift as human 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. But I also felt the loss you felt for your mother. This was what I thought up as due to my restraints I could not revive your mother since I cannot leave my ship. 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 spoke in a hushed tone so as not to alert anyone but I. About that, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. Is it possible you know where her mother is buried? I answer him mentally. Yes, you will find it at an alcove at Dagobah Beach. Once you clean the beach up fully, you should take your family there. I will reveal the location to you at that time. I see the brilliant smile of 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 as he bows and thanks me for my gifts and for the information. 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, I will never forget what you have done for my family. I never imagined being able to fly. Nor could I even remember my mother's face and voice. But now I'm the happiest I have been in years. I smile and say to them all, you are as close to family as I can ever achieve. You are all wondrous people and you deserve happiness. By my small tokens I grant happiness, then I too am happy. We then talk for a while as we all watch little armored Eri run round the ship. As we are talking I get an image in my head. Someone important to 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is in danger. Human 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. There's an issue we must discuss immediately. I say as he looks up at me, yes, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. I look at the family and tell them. A human female very important to human 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is future with a shared past is in danger. She is hiding in a plane flying to Japan, but it's losing fuel and falling out of the sky. I can teleport him near the plane, but that is not all. The plane she is currently stowing away in is being chased by several planes attacking it as well as some type of giant creature. As no one knows she's there and if the plane is destroyed she will be lost. I know it is unsafe 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, but will you allow 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 to rescue the plane and the girl? 𝗏𝗏 froze and looked at her son. Yes, if my boy can help then please do it. 𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 stood up and looked at me with his determined eyes. Send me there, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. I will save all I can. With that the familiar glow took hold of him as I sent him near the plane. Stay safe. Eri, we can watch in the monitor to see your father be the hero we know he can be. Do you wish to watch? Eri, looking nervous, nods as she holds 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘's hand. I access the monitor to show us the plane as the white light erupts in the sky near it. SPOV. Why did I think I'd finally be free? Why did my life have to be this way? Please someone. Anyone. Save me and take me away from here, Izuku's POV just as I arrive on Earth. I get a mental yell, save me and take me away from here. I snap my head around as I fly, already activating the pocket dimension and pulling out a new sword, my 2.5 long 30 kilograms unbreakable diamond katana named Musashi. I look at the plane as one of its engines is already on fire and its sludge to the ocean at a fast pace. Flying to it, I manage to get under it and push it into the sky with my left hand as I scan for a nearby island or something to take it to land. I see one plenty big enough for it and take the plane down to the island, landing it on the beach. I fly up to the pilot window and yell, please stay in the plane. Once I have handled the villains we can get you all out of it and to safety. I can see the pilots nod their head and then bolt up to the sky to see 7 different military jets, and atop of the lead one there stood a creature about 5 meters tall with deep red skin and golden eyes with black scara. It roars as it launches high into the sky just as lasers began to shoot from the planes. Damn it. The F is that thing, and why are they using lasers on a civilian craft? I tell as I start to deflect the beams with my Musashi. I get just enough time to charge a few slash beams and launch them at the two nearest jets, taking out a wing on each. They immediately cause the pilots to eject as their jets start to plummet. I snarl as I dodge the other beams and try to deflect and counter with my own, seeing as the creature landed on another jet. Luckily they're focusing on me and not the plane, but still I don't know the situation fully. I hiss as a beam shot through my left thigh. I roar as I launched a large horizontal slash through the air. Luckily I managed to take out the remaining jets, but that monster avoided the attack outright. I turn my attention away to heal my wound and look back at the plane, only to catch the creature flush in my stomach, launching us to the ground. God damn it, Izuku, never take your eye off the villains. I howled in my head. We slammed onto the beach a bit further away from the plane, but before I could react the monster picked me up and threw me into the air, only to open its jaws in a massive blast of green energy. Ares POV Papa knew. I scream as Grandma grabs me as we saw a big green light fly into Papa. Don't worry, Eri. Your Papa is strong. Eri hears Grandpa Deku say as me and Grandma look at the screen. Still in the air. Hurt, but still there is Papa. He's not smiling. Izuku's POV, somehow I survived that blast attack, but I'm covered in cuts and burns and bleeding heavily. Snarling I face the monster. I don't know what you are. I do not care what you are. I will take you down, monster. I yell as I feel my healing abilities start to heal the most severe injuries. The creature then flies up at me, not giving me a moment to rest. I dodge its 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 attack and dash its back before I move my sword into its arm. It seemed to not affect the beast as it slammed me down to the ground. I open my eyes and launch up at it, only to see it floating in the sky without a scratch. Well, not only strong, this thing heals faster than me. What to do? I put Musashi back in the pocket dimension as I start to gather energy to bring up my flaming blue aura. I fire an ice spear at it before I summon the lightning web I used on overhaul. Yet neither did any damage to the monster. What the hell are you? I ask as I start to charge multiple attacks in each arm. It falls towards me, seemingly crazed, as it charges the mouth blast again. I switched to fire off a beam attack of my own and just barely collided with his. Yet I'm the one being pushed back. How is it this strong? I charge the beam up as much as I can, only for it to be met with no resistance. I cancel my attack, yet the creature is nowhere to be seen. I scan the sky, only to be smashed in the back with a clawed hand slashing my back open. I jump away, breathing heavy, waiting on my healing to kick in and thinking a million thoughts a second as I start dodging his punches and slashes. I open the pocket dimension and out pops several of my enchanted bombs, hoping to either kill it or at least buy me a few moments respite. Luckily I was able to hit the monster, and the smoke allowed for me to put space between us. Yet still that monster has no wounds. Fine, guess I need to try it. I start to bellow a bestial roar as lightning arcs off of me. At the top of my roar I begin to radiate a brilliant white light. Time for me to try Power 5. Form Shift. Shining Mode. I see the monstrous beast seemingly smiling. When suddenly it spoke. They're finally a challenge worthy of me. Thank you, human. You made me happy. This devil can finally face a threat for first time in 1,000 years. That terrified me to the core. This thing was sentient and 1,000 years old. Before I could even fully come up with a plan, it seemed to be in overdrive, moving many times faster and emitting a black and red aura. I launch a flurry of supercharged lightning blasts at it and finally seemed to hurt the thing, but it ignored the pain, only to try that mouth blast again. Only this time it was a deep purple and many times stronger. I was unable to charge a beam attack of my own and stuck trying to block the damage as I felt white-hot pain scorching every inch of me. After the beam died down, I was luckily still alive. Covered in deep burns, barely able to keep just one eye open. I see the devil looking exhausted as my healing starts to work even faster than before. I summon my two great swords and begin charging them. As I was lifting them into the air, a massive blue ball is formed above the blades. I smiled. Thank you for pushing me to my limits. Sad for you, they're far past your own. I begin to pull my blades down as the devil roars at me and tries to charge his mouth blast again. I slowly slash the attack down as I scream, Shining Creation's End. At the same time the devil launched his blast. The huge ball slowly picks up speed and flashes down to the devil straight through the blast attack, causing a huge eruption in the skies over Japan. Aries POV, Grandpa did Papa win? Is Papa okay? I yell as the light's so bright can't see. Grandpa just smiled. Izuku's POV, the explosion dies down as I look down to see the decaying form of the devil falling to the ground. I fly down towards it, keeping my blades at the ready just in case. Suddenly it coughs. Thank you. You were a true challenge, human. But though you have beat me, my brothers will avenge me in a year. Farewell, human. Good luck saving this pathetic world. You'll need it. I was exhausted, but at the same time I stood tall again, a real live devil. A year, huh? Guess I need to get stronger just in case. I look on as the last of it turns to dust. Sighing, I look back to the plane and see people looking out the windows. I fly to it as I abandon my shining mode once I've healed fully. I jump up and knock on the door, saying it's safe to exit the plane. I help all the people off the plane as I see several helicopters from Japan in the distance. Well, much as I'd like to stay, I need to grab something from your plane, then take my leave. I'm glad to help you all. I give a radiant smile and begin to walk around to the landing gear and rip it open. I step inside and see her as she is covered in wounds and her glasses fall off. SPOV, after the fighting and explosions die down, I hear people exiting the plane. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Finally, it's over. Now how am I gonna get myself out of this one? I ask to the air, only for the landing gear lift in front of me to be ripped open. I panic and push myself back against the wall, only to see a large muscular man with long blue hair and diamond freckles smiling at me. Scared but drawn towards that smile, my glasses fall from my face as I start to cry. WW, who are you? Izuku's POV, I smile warmly as I hear her question. WW, who are you? I step forward slowly as I see her panicked face and calmly tell her, hello miss. I am a friend. Call me Izuku. She tries to talk, but I can tell from her wounds she has very little energy left and she starts to fall sideways. I rush in and catch her. I pick her glasses up as I hear her question, are you a god, Izuku? I laugh a bit. Well, no miss, just your average quirkless kid. I do know a being you could call a god if that suits you. I pick her up as she looks at me asking, quirkless? But from the battle I heard and seeing you rip that door open, how are you quirkless? I smile before I ask, may I know your name? She pauses for a second. I'm Melissa Shield. I freeze. The girl in my arms is the dead daughter of 𝗏𝗏𝗏's former sidekick during his stay in America, David Shield. But you died. She shook her head. No, I didn't die. David imprisoned me and lied, saying I died when he found out I was quirkless. There it is, the shared past DMNU David Shield. He did that all because you were quirkless. Explains the wounds and the malnutrition. I can take you somewhere and I will heal your wounds. We can talk more there. Is that all right, Melissa? I ask as she nods her head. I reach up and activate the communicator as 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗛𝗏 says, human Izuku, I will port you to a different room here in my ship to lay her down and heal her. Melissa hugs me as she leans near and says, thank you, Izuku. She kissed my cheek just as the brilliant white light engulfs us, sending us to 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏's vessel. Izuku's POV, as the light from our warp dissipates, I see a medical room with several beds. I walk up and set Melissa down gently on one of them as I place her glasses on the stand beside it. Still blushing from those soft lips kissing my cheek, I calm down a bit and tell her, okay, Melissa. I have the ability to not only heal you, but also remove any scars on your body. Right now I will message my mother, who is here on the ship as well. She's a nurse and she will look over your injuries before we start the process. To heal you, all I need do is place my hands on your skin. Thankfully, I don't have to actually touch all of your skin to do it, cause I don't think I am ready for that. Nor do I think you wish me to get handsy with you. Both me and Melissa are blushing as I get a message on my phone from my mother. I look down and it says she's on her way to check Melissa's injuries, and I simply reply okay. There's a lot of them, so while she does that I'll step out and talk with Eri. We wait for my mother when Melissa speaks up. Why did that voice say, human 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? I pause for a moment to get my thoughts in a line. Oh well, you see, a few days ago I was in a villain attack. I was much smaller and like you, truly quirkless and powerless. I had scars on about 85% of my body and green fuzzy hair. I was roughly 5 feet 5 inches, so shorter than you. During the incident, I tried to rescue my main bully who would always use his explosion quirk on me. Apparently, I failed and died. Pausing to let her absorb that information, I take a deep breath and sigh. Apparently, some ancient godly being known to us as 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 was watching Earth at that moment. He decided to reverse time until before I was killed, and we spoke. He asked why I would risk my life to save a boy who was so cruel and evil. I just smiled and looked at him. I told him I couldn't just stand there and watch him die. I told him my longing to be a hero and heroes save everyone. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 smiled at my answer and asked me a question that changed my life and more. What if I gave you the power you seek? I told him I'd use it to save everyone I could. I guess my honest determination won him over, as he gave me the powers of 10 legendary beings from various worlds. So in short, I'm the very first human this entity has ever encountered. So he tends to refer to me as human. I guess due to the fact he wants to not get the species wrong as he watches over so many worlds. Melissa looked at me with her jaw wide open. So basically, dude is an alien god and made you insanely overpowered. I think for a sec, when you put it like that, it makes it sound way weirder than I thought, but yeah, basically. Melissa's still trying to wrap her head round the issue when Mom and Eri enter the room. Papa! I hear little Eri scream as she comes running up, still in her armor, tears flowing from her eyes. She leapt up into my arms. Hi, Snowball. I'm sorry for scaring you, but I'm okay, I promise. Melissa looked even more confused of the situation. Papa! I flash a nervous smile. Well, last night I rescued Snowball here from an S-rank villain called Overhaul. Apparently she's an orphan, and seeing as I was who she latched onto, just decided to adopt her. Oh, and this is my mother, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. As I introduced both my mother and Eri to Melissa. Melissa, still not fully understanding everything, just asks the proper question. Dude, you sure I ain't dead? I laughed hard. Well, I'm pretty sure you're still alive, Melissa. But I digress. Eri, meet Melissa. She is the girl 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 sent me to rescue. Eri looks at Melissa, still teary-eyed. Papa, she almost pretty as Mama 𝗛𝗡𝗎𝗡. Why did I forget that until just now? Mama 𝗛𝗡𝗎𝗡? Asked Melissa with a quirked brow. Sweating bullets, I look from her to Mom to Eri. That's my cue to leave. I'll explain after I come back in to heal you. Walking out as fast as possible with a crimson blush, I could hear my mom cackling. Outside, I look at Eri. Thanks, Eri. I say with a pout. Eri looks sad and say, Eri not mean make Papa sad. Eri sorry. Don't be mad at Eri. I freeze and try hugging Eri in her armor. Eri, I'm not mad at you, and you didn't make me sad. Just my own words and teasing with Midnight got me into this. We'll figure things out. Eri brightened up at that. Yeah, 'cause Papa's smart. I laugh, thinking, why do people say I'm smart yet I still act like a complete idiot? Mal never understand. Our time skip. My mom exited the room looking pale as a ghost. She explains the injuries to Melissa. I don't think there's a single bone that wasn't broken at some point on the poor girl. For some reason she wasn't forthcoming on a last name or her quirk, but I think you can heal her now. Also, Eri, we will wait out here so they can talk. Is that okay? Eri pouted, but she nodded. I handed her to Mom and walked into the room to start healing the injuries. Hi, Melissa. Are you ready to get healed? Melissa flinched a bit before she asked, will it hurt? Also, I've broken so many bones through the years, I don't know how effective it will be. I smiled sadly at her. No, it won't hurt. Though my powers will completely heal any injury no matter how old. I walk up to her and place a hand under her chin so she'll look me in the eyes. Melissa, no worries. You will be good as new with no injuries or scars. Then who knows, maybe you will be even prettier than you already are. Melissa turned a brilliant shade of crimson as she said, Hey Meanie, don't tease the patients with lies. It's not nice, dude. Trying to sound mad, she even gave a cute pout. I laughed. Well, Melissa, to be a lie, it will need to be untrue. Also, we won't know until after we've finished. So, are you ready for your new start? Melissa, still blushing, nodded her head saying, Okay, just do whatever it is you do. I placed my left hand on her cheek and grabbed her hand with my right hand. I started the power to heal her, and soon we both had a green glow to us. I could feel the power working as I sent it all throughout her body. I looked her in the eyes as the glow began to fade. Well, I think we're done with that, but you'd need to be examined again to see how effective it was. Oh, and no, it wasn't a lie. You look much prettier now, I say as I stood up with Melissa blushing even harder than before. Dude, no teasing. Can you hand me my glasses and the mirror? I reached to the stand and grabbed them, handing them to her as she refused to look at me. She froze after putting her glasses on and looking into the mirror. I guess you really weren't lying then, huh? She said softly, staring at her scarless reflection. She nearly leapt from the bed as she dove to hug me, tears flowing non-stop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She choked out through her tears, holding on to me. I just held her as I rubbed circles in her back until the crying stopped. You're the only person to ever care for or help me, Izuku. But why go so far for a quirkless freak? I pull back and stare into her eyes. Melissa froze. Melissa, I spent 14 years quirkless and powerless. Was beat down by society and all my friends abandoned me. Yes, I have powers now. Yes, I am strong now. But neither you nor I are freaks for not winning some stupid lottery and getting quirks. I know your pain as I too lived your pain. But know this. If you ever need someone to stand with you, if you ever need a hand, I will be there. The only thing I needed to know to rescue you was you needed help. Help you will be given. When we get back to Earth, I'll talk to Nizu and the UA staff. Me, Mom, and Eri will be living there. I will study and train and become a student. Mom is hired as a nurse. I'm sure Nizu will allow you to live with us until you decide what your future will be for yourself. Never let words get you down. Always smile. You got an appealing one, so let it shine. Melissa still crying, but this time while she was smiling. Thank you. You are a hero. You're my hero, Izuku. She said as she hugged me again. We hear the door open as Mom and Eri enter. Somehow she talked Eri into taking off her armor. Izuku, if you are done flirting and hugging, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 said he wishes to meet Ms. Melissa. She said with a mischievous grin. Melissa and I look at each other and dissolve into blushing messes. Moom. I yelled out, embarrassed. As Melissa mumbles something about no way someone would like or flirt with her. I sigh and pat her head, then help her up. Come on, Melissa, best not to keep the alien god dude waiting. Snapping her out of her funk. Why yeah, okay Izu. I smiled a bit as the four of us head to 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗟. Eri not so quietly whispered to Mom, hey Grandma, think Melissa and Papa like each other. Well, that did it. That was the straw that fried my brain. This floor is not soft. I yell in my head, Eri, you broke him again. I hear my mom say as I look over to see Melissa in a similar state. I pick myself up and help Melissa to her feet. Hee kids. I say with a shaky smile, trying to lighten up the mood. Why yeah, unicorn kids say the darndest things. She said in a weird mix of emotions. We slowly make our way to the room with 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏 in it. Before I open the door, I advise Melissa to be relaxed, but warn her that 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏's appearance may be a bit to take in at first. She nods with a shaky smile as she grabs my hand and squeezes. I sigh and open the door. A human Izuku and human Melissa. How are we today? He says with a warm smile on his face. Izuku, that's a giant blue dude with silver hair and eyes. Right? I smile. Yes, Melissa, that is 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏. She nods her head, then answers. Free at last and safe. So I'm all good. Also sorry if I was rude. I didn't mean to be. 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏 chuckled at this. Well, human Melissa shielded is all right. No harm done. But I wanted to ask you something, if that was all right, before you all head out. Flinching at her last name, Melissa holds my hand tighter. Why yes sir. It's okay. She says. My mom looked confused at hearing Melissa's surname. Well, human Melissa. I wish to know. Are you familiar with All Might? Or his quirk? Melissa froze. You Uncle Might. Yes, I'm familiar. He is David's former partner when they were heroes together a long time ago. But not his quirk, no. I never knew what it was. 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗧𝗏 smiled fondly. Melissa, it's all right. No harm will come to you. I am glad to know you are just as honest as human Izuku. Though I feel I should explain something about All Might and his quirk. He then unleashed a flood of information that made me, Melissa, and most of all Mom incredibly angry. I stand to my full height and snarled out, "You mean the number one hero was just as quirkless as Melissa and myself, yet hates quirkless?" Before 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴 could say anything, 𝗧𝗓𝗓 spoke up. "What quirk?" "They like 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗓 curse." This dropped the temperature of the room down as I spun round and knelt in front of 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟. "Your curse? What do you mean, 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟?" 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧 looked down at the ground and shuffled her feet. "Overhaul say 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗓 curse. Say 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟 make her dad vanish with her curse." 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴 and I look at one another before he spoke. "𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟, little one, you are not cursed. You, just like most of the humans on Earth, have something called a quirk. Special powers that came from years of evolution. Remember when Grandma Inko flew as she opened her gift? That was her mother's quirk. I just gave it to her but made it stronger." 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟 thought on it before she spoke. "So, Grandma, 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟, and Papa not cursed. We have quirk." I took a sharp inhale. "Sorry, 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟, but unlike you and Grandma, both me and Melissa have no quirks. My powers belong to special people on different worlds, but they aren't a quirk. Only you and Grandma have quirks. Not even 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴 has a quirk." 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟 took a moment to think on that. "Okay, Papa," was all she said, causing me and Melissa to fall again. "Really? That's all the unicorn has to say about us not having quirks, Izu?" I smile a bit. "I guess so. You have to remember, Melissa, 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟 here is not like most kids. She was basically held hostage her whole life by a nutjob who tortured her and taught her nothing. Unlike most kids who have society telling them quirkless and those with certain quirks are bad or freaks, she's essentially a blank slate." I say as I stand back up. "But men like your father and All Might are the root cause for this. All Might had no quirk and was gifted one somehow and used that to become the number one hero while forgetting he was quirkless. If I had it my way, I'd throttle that fool and force him to tell the world the truth," I said, trying my best to not let my anger take hold. 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴, after watching this play out, spoke next. "What if you could do that?" I stopped dead, then turned around. "What do you mean, 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴?" He smiled. Before he said, "Human Izuku Midoriya, or rather Izuku 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗓, grandson of Nana 𝗧𝗓𝗧, you can easily beat All Might in a fight. Ironic, as the grandson of his emissary, the one who gave him his quirk, I think we shall do just that. When you return to Earth, there will be a letter waiting in your room with a location on it. Go to that location. You will meet someone I am sending to Earth to help you. Then after you clean Dagobah Beach as planned, I will give you the location of Nana's grave. Bring her to me and we will use my power to restore Nana 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟." Me and Mom both freeze. "But you said you couldn't revive her," I said as I gaze into his silver eyes. "True, because I can't go to her. But if you bring her body to me, I can bring her back to life easily. Gauging from how fast your body is adapting to your power, I think you can do it in, say, 1 Earth month. While you are doing that, Inko 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗓, I have an idea on how we can force All Might into a fight with your son. Don't worry, as of now, even in base form, Izuku can beat All Might, so in a month when he is even stronger, there's no way Izuku could lose the fight. For now, after he goes to meet the man I am sending to Earth, I want you to give this to both human 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏 and Chimera Nizu. It details the list of crimes All Might and David Shield both have committed and has videos and photos that can be used to force a fight and arrest them both." I look at Mom as she has noticeable fear and anger in her eyes, but she simply says, "Yes. We will bring down the corrupt symbol of peace. Izuku, when you fight him, make it hurt not just his body. Destroy his spirit." 𝗧𝗪𝐬𝐴 smiles and chuckles. "Oh, he will. Tell him you're Nana's grandson and you've come to take OFA from him and give it to a worthy true successor. As well, let him see Nana during the fight near the end. We must not allow the fight to happen before we have brought Nana back. Also, Inko 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗓, stick with human 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏. With his quirk, he would make the perfect bodyguard. We must stay careful until all the pieces are in place. Then we allow the world's eyes to be opened." I look at Melissa, then Mom, showing them the inferno of willpower in my eyes. "We will. No one who hurts the ones I care for ever will get away with it. David hurt Melissa for same reason Bakugo hurt me. All Might hurt her and me. as well as Mom and Nana by going back on his vow to Nana, which gave him his quirk in the first place. I will unleash hell on him in ways no mortal man ever faced. Mom, tell Eraserhead if he fails to protect you that he will have my full fury faced his way. No one could protect him and nowhere on earth would he be safe. I said as I reached down and picked up Eri. Tell him that against Overhaul I only used 1% of my true strength. Melissa's POV, I gazed at my savior and saw his impossibly strong conviction. He truly meant every word he said. He even considered me, a quirkless freak with no power, to be someone he cared about. I have a feeling this young boy, only a few years my junior, was truly as close to being a god as any mortal being could be if he right now could easily beat but might to the ground. As well, he is incredibly brave. He rescued me, the people on that plane, and Eri facing off against powerful villains with relative ease. We all turned to the smiling 𝗧𝗪𝐸. Well, I think it's about time you all went back to Earth and got the preparations underway, yeah. We agreed as he used his power to warp us back to Earth. Izuku's POV, as the light vanished we saw we were back in our small apartment. I turned to Mom and said, "Can you get a hold of Nizu and tell him we need to come to you?" My mom smiled as she said, "Oh Izuku, I'll do more than that. I'll tell him this concerns one for all, Nana Shimura, David and the recently rescued Melissa Shield and more until he has no choice but to let us come to you." I chuckled as I turned to Melissa. "See Mel. Told you. Everything would turn out in the end." She smiled as she hugged me and Mom and Eri. "Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me, 𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗪. I know your boy here will not let us down. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes the next #1 hero in the world." My mom beamed a bright wide smile. "Don't I know it? I always believed in him even when his dad left us. I warned Hisashi. Never come back to Japan cause when Izuku is older he will make him rue the day he turned his back on us. I knew he would even without powers, but now. My baby boy is already stronger than that fool of a #1. I blush as I head to my room with Melissa in tow. We look for the note and found it on my bed. It said to head to a place in America called Death Valley. I grinned as I looked at Melissa. "Looks like I'm on a field trip. You want to head with Mom to UA to handle the rest as this will take me about 2 or 3 hours to go there and back." Melissa smiled a bit sad but still said, "Okay 𝗧𝗑𝗧. I'd rather go with you but I figure it's better to stick with your mom and the unicorn here so that we can get everything set. Plus I think it is too risky for me to be in America right now." I smiled at her as I asked Eri, "When you are going to head to UA, I want you to put the armor Grandpa 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 gave you on, okay Eri? Don't take it off until I get back with the person in supposed to find." "All right Snowball." Eri shows her fiery eyes and smiles, "Yeah Papa. I promise." When Eri at UA can Eri take pretty Melsa to Mama Nemyumu? Oh so close. I almost got out before my next series of heart attacks began. I sweat dropped and looked at Melissa. "Well that's up to Midnight. Also please ask Midnight to explain as I would have but things happened and gotta go fetch an alien." I smile shakily as I pray Melissa doesn't think I'm like married to Midnight or something. "Oh so Mama Nemyumu is Midnight. Okay I guess so 𝗧𝗑𝗧𝗏," she said sadly for some reason. "Okay. I'll go to Mom and tell her what is happening then head to Death Valley." As I handed Eri to Melissa before bolting from the room I find Mom's smiling arms in the air almost like a victory pose. I quickly hug her before telling her where I am going and to take Melissa and Eri with her before rushing from the house, no doubt leaving her very confused. 𝗏𝗏𝗏's POV. Well, the walking blush known as Izuku quickly came to me, told me he is flying to some place called Death Valley and to head to UA with Melissa and Eri. Then flew out of the house. So, yeah. I turn around and head to his and Eri's room. As I got to the door I see a sad Melissa holding a smiling Eri and I figure that she just learned that Mama Nemyumu is Midnight. "Melissa you okay?" I ask her as she quickly puts up a smile and says, "Yeah just the super tornado known as Izuku dropped some knowledge and took off." I smile softly. "Okay well when we get to you I'll head to Nizu and you Miss Eri will take Melissa to Midnight and try and sort this out. Deal?" Melissa nods and Eri smiles bright saying, "Yeah then pretty Mama Melsa meet Mama Nemyumu." Luckily I managed to catch Eri about a split second before Melissa fainted. But Mama Melsa fall down. I laugh at my granddaughter's antics. Well she got some sudden news. Now help me get her up so we can go to UA, okay? Eri smiles and chirps as she jumps down and puts her armor on, saying, Papa said to put it on until he get back. I laugh as I reach down and nudge Melissa's arm, trying to wake her up. After a few minutes she comes to. Well, how's the floor feeling there, Mama Melissa? I ask with a mischievous grin. Seeing Melissa's reaction was rather hilarious. She was neon red. Oh, so she calls all girls mama but you. I cackle. No, she just doesn't fully know what is going on. Though she might do that actually, after all the only girls she knows are me, Midnight, and you, so maybe. We stand up and start to head off towards UA. As we walk through the door to UA, I see both Izuku and Mike in the entrance. Hello 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, airy and blonde girl I do not know. Hollered Mike as Izuku face-bombed, Mike, that's not 𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗏. Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, we were told to take you straight to Mr. Fuzzy Ratman's office. I take it Eri will be going to Recovery Girl along with this girl. I smile. Well, you see, one small nuclear-powered explanation later. Oh, I see. Well, young Melissa, I'll send Mike with you to take you both to Nemuri's office. Mike looked upset. But what about Mr. Fuzzy Ratman's order? He asked before Izuku used his quirk. Shut it, Mike. Consider it payback for your crappy introduction to young Melissa here. Plus you get to see a blushing Nemuri. Surely that should suffice, right? Mike just drops his shoulders and pouts. Alright, but I wanted to do something important too. Well, come with me, young Eri and Melissa. We'll go see Midnight. Eri laughs as she yells out, Yay, Eri get to show Mama Melissa to Mama Nemyamu. Causing Melissa to blush as both Izuku and Mike trip. Oh, Izuku, you alright? Here, let me help you up and we'll go see Mr. Fuzzy Ratman. Izuku, looking paler than usual, just accepts the help and we take off. Thanks. Did Eri just say? I quickly interrupt him. Don't ask Izuku. That's between them. Plus I have my hopes up and you will not ruin this for me. With a cheery smile as I release a small amount of motherly wrath, watching him pale and stutter out, oh okay Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. I swear I could see his soul trying to leave his body as we walked to Nizu's office, hearing the rat cackling long before we got there. Izuku's POV after my 50th heart attack from whatever problem child's mother just did, and hearing the rat cackling like a serial killer. We finally get there and only thing I can think the whole way is I'm in trouble. Before we reach the door, I turn to Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and bow as I try and beg forgiveness for whatever I did and please not take my soul. We hear the door start to open. I look up to a confused Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and then turn to the door to see a skeletal thin blonde buffoon and Fuzzy Ratman. Mr. Fuzzy Ratman. I have brought Nurse Inko to talk as ordered, sir. I get a familiar feeling from the skeleton, like I've met him before, but can't quite place him. Nizu smiles. Thank you, Izuku. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, it was nice to talk, but as you can see I must attend to some business now with our new school nurse. Please wait in the conference room so we can finish our talk from before. The skeleton, now referred to as 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, blinks a few times after staring at Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗏, which seemed rather rude before he spoke. Oh, of course, Nizu, sir. I will head there now. He steps out of the way to allow Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗧 to enter the office. Before he starts to leave, I activate my quirk at him, glaring daggers. It's very rude to stare at women, Mr. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏. Not giving him a chance to reply, I walk inside and slam the door in his face. Plus Nizu's POV, well, this is a welcome sight. A very serious Inko 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏 and a confused Eraserhead. I watched as Mike was made to take Eri and the blonde girl known as Melissa to Midnight's office through the monitor, so that explains some part. Now I wonder. Now Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, to what do I owe this visit today? As all you said on the phone was it involves Nana 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏, OFA, All Might and the Shields, both David and Melissa. Might I guess that the young girl you came here with was the formerly thought of deceased Melissa Shield? Ms. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 nodded before letting out a deep exhale. She reached in her pocket to grab something as she said, That is a good guess, but yes. Also so many worse things. But first, I have a present for you from Deku. He requests personally that you review this information as well as that we do nothing about it until my son is finished clearing Dagobah. In her hands was a technological marvel. A white-colored disc with a small button on it. I reach out and grab the disc and place it on my desk as she continues. Also, while Izuku is cleaning said beach, he requests that you assign Izuku here to act as my personal guard. for reasons you will soon discover on said disc. Oh, and Aizawa. Izuku said to tell you this, inform Eraserhead that if any harm befalls my mother, Melissa or Eri, that I will unleash my full power on him. That what I defeated Overhaul with was but 1% of my true strength. So he better not fail. So I think that's all I was supposed to tell you, Aizawa. I cackle as Aizawa pales and shrinks down. Oh, Aizawa never fails a mission, but on the off chance he does, I bequeath his kitten mug to you, Ms. 𝗓𝗧𝗟. Aizawa glares at me but doesn't say anything as I focus my attention to the strange disc. I tap the button and suddenly the room is flooded with light. Hello, 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and human Aizawa. I am 𝗓𝗧𝗪𝗧. This disc contains all known instances of crimes committed by 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, also known as All Might, and his former sidekick David 𝗓𝗓𝗡. There's files as well as video and photos to be used as evidence when the time comes to arrest them. I am sure 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏 has said her messages, so now I will show you not only their crimes but our plan to bring them to justice. Be warned, 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, you will not allow anyone to make a move on either party until Izuku 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 is prepared and returns with our guests. 2 legends, one from Earth and one from a planet millions of light years away called 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. By my estimates it will take 1 month to get all the preparations complete. Human Aizawa, I requested you specifically to guard Melissa Shield, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏, and my granddaughter Eri 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏. Before you ask, no, I am not related to her. She made this simple request to call me her grandfather, and I agreed. Make no mistake though, human Aizawa, I may not be related to little Eri, but should any harm befall her I will erase you from this world. Do I make myself clear? Now on to the information. Shortly after receiving One for All from Nana 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏 began to change. He let his quirk go to his head. I'm sure you remember reading up on a case of a quirkless girl being found raped and crushed beyond recognition roughly 1 month after Yagi received One for All. Now Yagi told you that this girl was his quirkless friend from the same neighborhood and one of the leading causes for his failed Quirkless Homes charity he created to build homes for the quirkless. The truth is far darker. Yagi, being young and full of hormones, remembered the quirkless girl as his only friend at his school. Her name was scrubbed from files at her school and her family never found out about her. Unlike Yagi, who had a horrible childhood, this girl had a relatively normal childhood. Her name was Keiko Inoue. She stood a good chance at being a successful member of society even while quirkless, which the young Yagi always felt angry about the path her life was taking over his own. He used his quirk at full strength to break down the door to the dorm she was staying in and kidnap her. He spent the next 12 hours beating and raping her. At the end of it, instead of letting her go as that would ruin his chances to become a hero, he used a massive attack to crush her, leaving her unrecognizable. It is not the last of such cases. Many times he would find and do this throughout both Japan and America. I'm sure you realize what this means, right? I have videos my equipment could recreate of the events as photos. I will not show them until the end of this video, as I am sure 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 is watching this video. So if Miss 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏 would rather leave now, we can go through the list of the crimes then show you the evidence. I see the dread on Ms. 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏's face as she clearly does not want to be any part of the list of information. I tell her and Aizawa to head to Recovery Girl's office for now. That I would then bring them back after I've finished reviewing the evidence. Luckily they didn't argue. As they left, I saw pure rage building up in Aizawa, as I figured he had deduced who I was in the office with before they showed up. I knew then and there it's going to be very difficult to keep him from trying to arrest All Might before the proper time. Inko's POV, the first case was more than enough to make me sick to my stomach. That could have been Izuku if things were different. A 50-50 chance if Izuku was born female and not male, he could have been one of but Might's numerous victims. Hell, that could have happened to Melissa if she hadn't been imprisoned by her father. Aizawa, I know you're just as enraged as I am, but you must fulfill 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏's request. We must leave this to Izuku to solve. He already is stronger than All Might and according to 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏𝗏 can beat him in a fight with ease. The plan they have come up with is perfect. They will completely out him to the public. We will force a fight between them. The 2 legends will be needed as well. Trust me. One of them All Might knows very well. Believe me when that person comes to the battle, but Might will be left a bumbling crying mess on global TV. We will take this symbol of hypocrisy and turn him into a sacrificial figure. We will take his quirk and give it to a rightful heir. One who honors the other 7 that carried OFA. But I do make a simple request. Seek out a retired hero named 𝗓𝗓𝗏. I need to speak with him. He was my mother's teammate long ago, but we've lost touch after such a long time. He can aid you in keeping us safe. Please 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗛𝗪 find 𝗓𝗓𝗏 for me. I need him here when the grandson of Nana Shimura reclaims the honor All Might stole from WhatIf. I begged as tears fell. I was shocked when suddenly I was wrapped in a hug. Very well. I will make sure I fulfill this request. I do not know this 𝗓𝗓𝗏, but I will move heaven and earth to find him for you. It obviously means more to you than anything at this moment. Know this, Inko Shimura. I may be a hard case and rude to many, but I never go back on my word and I never lie. I give you my word I will find him and bring him to you once more. I knew he would do it. His drive is almost as powerful as Izuku's. I may not have known him long, but I'd be a fool to not believe him. I cried into his shoulder until all my tears were gone. I blush as I realize we must have been hugging in the hallway for some time. Aizawa, I think we should go to Recovery Girl's office now. Don't you think? Apparently surprising Aizawa as well. He wraps his scarf Yuo a bit higher on his face as he jumps back. Let's do that. We quickly walk towards the infirmary. Izuku's POV. I finally arrived at the place known as Death Valley in America. Oddly enough, it didn't look like how imagined it. I start traveling to the exact location on the map, but before I get close I see a sight I wasn't anticipating. A huge pile of unconscious villains with a giant sat atop them holding the swords I use in his hands. Be you friend or foe, young one? Asked the giant with a deep voice as if he was speaking from the depths of the earth itself. Well, I dunno who you are, sir, but gauging from fact you're wielding the comet sword and the 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗟𝗘 blade as well you have Musashi on your hip, I'd have to say I'm a friend. The giant laughed as he looked down at me, seeming impressed. Well. So you are the boy Dagoya gave my powers to. That's good. Gauging from what he told me, you have a vast wellspring of will and determination. Let's put that to the test. If you are keen enough to inspire the god in his gilded prison, then let's make sure you have the power to complete the mission he is preparing you for. I watch as this unnamed giant leapt down from the pile as I used my pocket dimension to summon those exact swords to my side. Well, you wouldn't exactly be a hero of legend if you weren't willing to fight and prove yourself, huh? Very well, predecessor, let's pit our metal against one another. Staring at him with my eyes a blazing inferno. The giant laughs, huh? Legend. I dunno about that, but hell of a fighter sure. Now enough talk. Let blade meet blade, young one. He emits a deadly aura even stronger than that devil's. My spine shivers as I smile. Well, our blades may meet, but no matter the cost I will win. With a smile as my grandmother always did. The giant tilted his head and quirked a brow as I lunged forward, swiping the blades at his. Slamming together with a massive concussive shockwave blasting out. The giant grunts and smiles. Well, you're a strong one, boy. But it takes more than just strength and ideals to be a hero. I laugh. I know. It takes both as well as conviction to use one's strengths to bring their ideals to fruition. Kindness as well as willingness to die to protect those they are fighting for, and when times draw near for them to fight, they must be willing to end the battle and the foe if necessary. While it's best to never kill, it's not always a feasible solution. The giant smiles at me. All right, newbie. Let's see how you stack up. He began to glow as his aura flares to life. This power that saved an entire planet was now going to focus solely upon me. I charge my aura as well and ready my blades. Eyes focused on him in an effort to see any attack he will use. Time for a new attack I created after you gained my powers. He roared as he flashed a brilliant red, appearing to grow a bit larger as steam radiated from him. I stay on guard and watch, trying to figure out his strategy. Suddenly behind him stands a form similar to the man but a little different. It drew the Musashi as it started to charge me. I smiled. I see. So that's your plan, predecessor. Unfortunately, that won't work. I quickly slash my swords backwards only to be met by his blades. How did you figure out my plan? He asked, causing me to laugh more. You said it was a new attack, yet it's so similar to one of your old ones. where you bluff with an illusion. Yet now it's not exactly an illusion, is it? No, now it's your true fighting spirit manifested in reality. But soon as it leapt forward, I noticed it was slower than I was anticipating with all the build-up. Based on all your known techniques, speed is the highest rating. You would never ignore your immense speed in place of power. So I knew based on those factors that it was a ploy to unleash a massive ambush attack from my blind spot. But in case you didn't notice the way I held the blades, the comet sword was placed so I could see the reflection behind me that way to counter any sneak attacks. The giant bellowed a massive laugh. Well done. Seems even my newest technique was countered by my lack of information. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 purposefully kept the intelligence you possess a secret. Here I was thinking you were at best a slightly above average level intellect 14-year-old child. You humans aren't that different from my own species. With similar level intelligence, but differ in size and strength and definitely speed. Even among my species, my speed is beyond normal. So I deem you a success. My bluff was all I had cost. This technique is only a fatal one. I would never be able to unleash it fully without the end result being mine or my opponent's death. Now as for your obvious question. I am Lionheart Bloodrage, the last of my clan, the savior of 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and slayer of Tengen Black. I was the one to come closest to slaying 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟's greatest enemy. Well met successor Izuku Shimura. He stood at his full height of 9 feet 8 inches, towering over even but might himself. Well met Lionheart Bloodrage. It's an honor to meet you. We smiled as he reached out to shake my hand. His hand swallowing mine to the point it looked as if nothing was in his hand. Well, young 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗪 mentioned how we're to get to 𝗧𝗓𝗧, Japan. 'Cause I got nothing, as never been to this planet before. He smiled sheepishly. I laughed. Well, about that. I flew here on my own, so I figured why not fly back with you. Lionheart laughed. Well, if you're strong enough to carry my heavy 𝗓𝗏𝗏 but all the way there, then let's get going. Oh, I forgot. He paused, then walked back round the pile of unconscious villains and came back carrying a staff. This belonged to the greatest mage on my planet. He was named Tempestuous Vorpal, and this staff has powers that could greatly help your new friend. What was her name again? Melissa, right? I smiled. A gift for Melissa. I'm sure she will love it. Well, this is a surprise. While we're flying there, you can fill me in on the various techniques and uses of it. Then when we get to UA, I can give it to her. Lionheart laughed. I'll do you one better and just give you the book I wrote about him throughout the years. I set an auto-translate spell on there filled with all known Earth languages so she or anyone you will it to can read it. I know she doesn't have any powers, but at least this way she can start to train something to help her defend herself. Plus, not gonna lie, this DMN twig is near unbreakable. I still remember watching that DMN mage hit a full cube of dietral metal and not even making a scratch on his staff. He shivered at the thought, which made me think that cube of metal wasn't the only thing he tested that staff on. Okay, Lionheart. Guess we should head out now. I also could carry you there, but I have my own pocket dimension that I can place those things in, and you can hop inside to make the journey faster and easier on you. Lionheart laughed. Well, sounds like taking the easy way out, but if it gets us there fast and there's no risk to me, then let's do it, little Izuku. He bellowed out a laugh. I pouted. Not that little. Lionheart laughed. Take it easy, just lightening the mood, young Izuku. Now let's get going, as this task we've been given won't complete itself on its own. I opened my pocket dimension as I placed the book and staff inside, and Lionheart walked in. There's air in here, right? He asks with a nervous grin on his face. I laugh my butt off. You mean you're only asking that now? Well, who knows? I say as I shut the pocket dimension. He probably gonna regret my prank, but oh well, time to head to UA. I take off into the sky after calling in about the villains in Death Valley. I activate Shining Mode to reach UA even sooner than I got here and take off as sonic booms erupt. SPOV, I sat on the roof of UA since I had a free PRD now. My thoughts wandering about many to news events I saw the past few days. About the small green-haired boy who just suddenly grew to be a huge blue-haired man in a fraction of a second and rescued a boy from a sludge villain. Then the same boy said he's quirkless after easily blasting the villain apart with a single punch. Then just last night that same boy defeated several villains and even an S-ranked one who merged with 2 others to turn into a freaking kaiju. All to rescue a single 5-year-old girl. When I saw the news during class, that same boy is thought to have rescued a plane full of people from a giant monster and 7 fighter jets with laser weaponry. Just who is that boy? Why did he seem so familiar? I suddenly started hearing sonic booms erupting. And look in the direction they started from. Freaking. Izuku's POV. I flew faster and faster and soon reached campus not but 30 minutes after taking off. Probably could have gotten here faster but not quite used to this new level of power. I quickly fly down towards the front doors and soon as I landed I hear a girl's voice. Hey you. You're the kid all over the news, right? I look up to see a tall girl with long light blue hair was slowly falling towards me as a golden energy swirled round her arms and legs. What the hell? I jump back out of shock trying to figure out what's happening when she screams as the energy she was producing suddenly stopped. I said as I jump up to catch her before dropping down to the courtyard again. Phew. Thank goodness. You okay, Mississippi? I ask as she slowly opens her eyes. Yeah. Wait, how did we land safely? I sigh. I jumped up and caught you before you hit the ground. To answer your first question, yes, I'm the kid you're thinking of. Who might you be, miss? She blushes as she realizes in holding her and jumps out of my arms. I'm 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗘 of Class 2A. Nice to meet you, newsboy. 2 quick questions. What's your name and why do you seem so familiar to me? I sweat drop. Well, first, I am Izuku Shimura. Second, I guess I seem familiar because you literally called me newsboy and asked if I was the kid in the news. She stops for a second after I said my name and then started pouting. No, Zuko, I meant do you maybe know me or have we met before? Cause you seem very familiar to me. Oh, that's what she meant. I stop and think about it. 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗘, what's your quirk called? She stops for a moment and looks at me. W-wave motion. I stand dumbstruck. Okay, about 7 or 8 years ago. Do you remember when you was chased into a forest in Mustafa by an angry explosion using kid that looked like a Pomeranian? She gets wide-eyed. Why ya? How did you know? I smiled. Do you remember how you got away from the Pomeranian? She thinks for a second. Oh, that's right, a kid with green hair and eyes and freckles came out of nowhere and pushed the boom boom boy away from me. He told me to run and got beat up by the explosive kid and some of his friends as I hid behind a tree nearby. I smiled. Well, there's your answer. I was that little boy. I got beat up, but after Bakugo and his cronies left, you came out and walked up to me. You asked if I was okay and helped me to my feet. I laughed and said yeah, I was fine, then asked if you was alright. You just tackle-hugged me and cried for a while before you spoke again. You said you was okay, but you asked me why I helped you. Do you remember what I said? 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗘 didn't even need a moment to think of the words I said back then. She just beamed up at me. Oh yeah. Because you looked like you needed it and I'm used to Bakugo's explosions, so I had no problem helping you out. Wait, wasn't that the name of the kid you saved from the sludge villain? I laughed. I saved the angry Pomeranian. Because he needed help, and regardless of how he was my main bully, I couldn't stand by and do nothing when someone needed help. I aim to be a hero, and a hero's job is to save everyone they are able to, no matter if they know or even like them. 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗘 smiled. Still a deep thinker, Hazuku. To be honest, I only even joined UA because I remembered that incident. I couldn't remember your name, but the action of taking that beating to save me and telling me why you did it. That inspired me to be a hero. But I never knew you were quirkless. If I did, I would have tried to look for you and help you. I smiled. Well, Miss 𝗧𝗱𝗃, I thank you for remembering me and I am glad I helped you find your path in life. But it's alright. I didn't save you that day to try and gain a periwinkle-haired guardian angel or anything. I just knew you needed help, so I helped. But knowing if we had spoke more and if I had said my quirk status you'd be willing to help me, makes me smile. Many quirkless rarely reach even my age anymore these days. Due to being murdered or suicide or what have you. But if you keep up with that conviction, you most definitely will become a great hero one day. She smiled and blushed at me. Thank you. But it's 𝗔𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗘 to you, Zuku. After all, we're friends, right? I smiled at that. Well, twist my arm, why don't you? 𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗟 after all with a request from such a gorgeous girl I'd be a fool to not acquiesce. I say with an overly exaggerated bow. She blushed even more as she let out a squeal. 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 grew up to be a charmer and a handsome one at that. Well Lord Zuku, whenever you join you, we're definitely gonna be eating lunch together every day. You got it, she says as the bell rings in the distance. I flash a million-watt smile. Deal Lady 𝗔𝗍𝗟. Now if I'm not mistaken your bell rang so you've a class to head to right. Better head there so you're not late. 𝗔𝗍𝗟 laughed a bit. Deal, but first let me see your phone. Confused and not wanting to make her late, I unlock my phone and hand it to her. In a flash of her fingers she speed-typed something in the phone, then handed it to me and gave me a hug, surprising me. I hugged her back, still confused about what's going on. We released the hug and she waved before running off. I shrug and checked my phone to see what she did, and she added her number to my contacts, and it took exactly a half-second for my brain to realize it before I turned into a sputtering mess. Holy hell, I got a girl's number. Wait, what the hell did I do to manage that? Why don't I pay attention when I say things? I yell in my head before I remember I'm supposed to meet Mom, Melissa, and Eri here before heading home. I rush inside and make my way to Recovery Girl's office. I head into the office and freeze. CRP, now I remember the one thing I was dreading. As standing there was not just Recovery Girl, Mom, Melissa, Eri and Izuku, but Midnight, and both her and Melissa were blushing messes looking about to have panic attacks. OF kill me now, I droop down as suddenly Eri notices me. Papa, you're back. She screamed as she ran and jumped up to me. Oof, hey Snowball, little warning next time, I said as I catch her. She just smiled and nods. I can't help but smile back at her. Oh Papa, come on Mama, Melsa met Mama Nemumu. Seriously, kill me now, I so did not sign up for this with that tease this morning. As I hear twin squeaks from Midnight and Melissa, I sigh and smile as I walk towards them. Hi everyone, I'm back from America. Now I didn't have time to get everyone gifts. Sorry Eri. But I did pick up our guest, so when we return home I'll introduce him to you all. Eri pouted when I said didn't get gifts, but she looked me square in the eye and said, it's okay Papa, there's always next time, right? I laughed nervously. Yeah, that's right, I said as I quickly realized I did it again and got pulled into something Cos was trying to be funny. Seriously, the F do I say things for again? My mom laughs, obviously realizing just what I thought. There you go again, causing havoc, trying to be a jokester. Serious Izuku, did you not learn your lesson this morning? She teased with a Cheshire grin. Really Mom, not even a moment's rest from teasing. Please some psycho please run in and stab me in the face so I die or least lose ability to speak. I plead to the universe. Yes, sorry, but that won't work. You heal, remember Izuku Shimura. I freeze before thinking, oh that's true, oh wait. 𝗧𝗍𝗟𝗘. Oh see, I forgot you can read my thoughts. Sweat dropping as I did so. Luckily my mom laughed and chose to speak. It's fine. Anyway, are you ready to head back home Izuku? I smile and nod as no longer trusting my mouth to speak smart things. Everyone but Recovery Girl start making our way to the entrance. As we stop I see Eri handing my phone to Midnight, and before I can panic on that crisis my mom speaks up. So did everything go well in Death Valley Izuku? I answer, yeah Mom, also I got something for Melissa from Lionheart as he specifically was instructed to bring it along and give it to Melissa. Melissa hearing this perked up and asked, why would he do that? What's this gift? I laughed a bit before I spoke. Well Mel, you're just going to have to be patient and when we get home you will find out. Causing her to pout. I smiled. I don't be like that Mel. Trust me, good things come to those who wait. Isn't that right Eri? Eri perked up and nodded saying, that right Mama Melsa, so just wait and Papa will show you when home. Melissa pouted more before smile. Okay, but this gift from the alien dude better be worth it Izu. I laughed. Yeah. The gift from the alien dude is definitely worth it. Let's just say with it you won't be as powerless as you think anymore. I don't know in what ways, but me, you, and Lionheart will definitely figure things out. We chuckled as Midnight handed Eri back my phone. She smiled at me and said, well that's a good thing right Midoriya-kun. Hee besides as you say good things always come to those who wait hee. She said with a wink and a giggle. I blush as I just nod my head, still not trusting MT mouth to say smart wordy words just yet. Mom cackled as she pushed me out the door. Bye for now, Aizawa. We'll talk later, Nemuri. As Melissa was taking up the rear, we started making out way back to that little apartment we call home, which now has to house 5 instead of 2, but luckily in a few days' time we will be moving to UA. Melissa's POV after talking with Midnight and getting the situation of why Eri calls her Mama Nemuru, and learning of how Nemuri really is when not in her Midnight personality, things got a lot more defined. She acts like a 16-years-old version in reality, even though she acts like a super 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘 when in character. We talked and she explained both how she met Izu and the situation with Eri. Now I understand a bit better the scene. Though I can see why she is so smitten with Izu. He's not only powerful beyond belief. He is kind, honest, and his conviction to save everyone he can and willingness to die to do so is like a knight from a romance story. Wonder how things will go. Thought I was the only one who liked him. But how can a quirkless freak like me who spent years imprisoned and tortured by her own father ever hope to compete with her? Why can't I stop thinking about this? Well, we are almost at Izu's home now, so at least we get to meet the alien legend dude. I do wonder what this supposed gift is going to be. Mama Melsa, we home now? Squealed Eri, shocking me out of my thoughts. I blushed brightly. Oh, okay, Eri. So Izu, when do we get to meet the alien guy? I say in an effort to change topic. I look at Izu, who just smiled brightly. Then looks shocked for a second after we step inside. Oh, see, I forgot all about that. He yells before opening his pocket dimension. Giant falls out flat on his face. I mean, what the F, this dude is almost 10 foot tall and nothing but muscles that put even but mites to shame. Diminu brat. You could have warned me before opening that thing. I was freaking out in there for minutes, holding my breath. Few thought my freaking successor was gonna kill me before we got here. He stood up, towering over us all. Little Unicorn squeezed Izu tighter as she looked at the man. Is he gonna hurt Eri? She squeaked. I look at her, then Izu, as I quirk a brow. No, Eri. He's not gonna hurt you. I know he's big and all, but he's nice. I sighed. That was more of a question than an answer. The giant deadpanned, then gently reached a hand out to Eri. No, young one, I will not hurt any here. He opened his massive hand and inside was a strange doll. Is this for Eri? Eri asked quietly. Yes. I wouldn't arrive without gifts for all of you. It's not proper. I learned my lesson from my wife 𝗧𝗟𝗪 many years back. This little Eri is a special gift. If you say the words, protect me, wolf's claw, this will turn into a valiant warrior to protect you from any danger. He will fight for you or carry you from any danger. I designed him after my father. He was very strong. Almost as strong as me. He should be powerful enough to handle anything that tries to hurt you. We all paused as Eri slowly reached out for the tiny doll. It was like a plushie but looked a bit like the alien dude. On its back was a sword and in its hand was a book. Thank you, Grandpa Lion. She said with a brilliant smile. The alien dude, who Izu said was Lionheart something, smiled as he patted her head. Next the giant turned to Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗏. For the mother of my successor, I have this. He waved his hand, a green crystal popped out. What's this, Mr. Lionheart? She asked cautiously, grabbing the brilliant green crystal. This, Ms. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, is a barrier spell. Simply say barrier and an unbreakable barrier will pop up around you in any size and shape needed to cover you and anyone or anything you wish to protect. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 looked shocked but quickly bowed after clutching the crystal to her chest. Thank you very much. She said as Lionheart smiled. Oh, it's no trouble, but I know what you mean to little Izu there as well as the situation. This is added protection for in case that that bad man might try to harm you. He coughed to prevent cursing in front of Eri, who smiled, clutching the doll thing to her chest in a cute little hug. Oh yes. I was given these by Lionheart for you, Melissa. Shouted Izu as he opened the pocket dimension again. This time he pulled out what appeared to be a large magic staff with a black and blue crystal at one end as well as a book. Wow. So my gift's a book and staff. I thought you said it would give me some power, Izu, I say while pouting. Lionheart laughed as Izuku flushed a bit. Young Melissa. This staff is a very powerful, nearly unbreakable weapon. The crystal holds enough power to destroy the sun if used at full strength. The book has every spell the greatest magic wielder from my world ever knew. While you learn the spells, you can also use the staff as a melee weapon to help protect you. The spells inside range from attack to defense and even healing. It may take time to wield it all, but give me 5 months and you will answer it. Lionheart said with a small head bow. Whoa. Really? Dude, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Lionheart. I said while holding the staff and book. Oh please, Lionheart is my first name, so no need to call me Mr. I know I'm an old dead guy and all, but that makes me feel even older. He smiles, sheepishly grabbing the back of his head. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was your last name. I say, frowning a bit. The giant laughs a bit while looking at Izuku. You only said my first name to them, huh, successor? Izuku coughed, looking nervous. Well, yeah. I was afraid they'd get scared knowing your full name. He said, causing Lionheart to bend over, holding his stomach while howling with laughter. Ha! It's fine. Young Melissa, my name is Lionheart Blood Rage. My last name is also my ability. Blood Rage was a spell my ancestor cast on my family line. In essence, the angrier we get, the more powerful we become. We all stop to absorb the information, so does that mean you're an angry person? Inko asks timidly. Lionheart smiles sadly. No. But it has not always been so. I used to be angry all the time for reasons pertaining to my family and my world. But after I avenged them and my time with my late wife, I was able to fully emissary my anger, so I never lose control anymore. He said grimly. Izuku's POV, that's good, you gained control over it. But apologies for your wife's passing, Lionheart. I say as we spend the next hour or so packing up some stuff and chatting. As it gets late, Lionheart asks a question I didn't want to think about. So, since there's only 2 beds and 1 couch. What's the sleeping situations? I paled as Melissa blushed a bit. Well, Lionheart, that is I hadn't thought about that. I know Eri only sleeps if she can be on Izuku. But I dunno where you and Melissa will sleep. I smirk as I joke. Hey Lionheart, how about you take the pocket dimension and I take the couch so Melissa can have my bed? Lionheart laughs, saying, how about no? I will take the couch so you and your girlfriend can have your bed. He said with a 𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗘 grin. I blush crimson, as does Melissa, and my mom grins mischievously. Before anyone can say a thing, my precious little snowball in her innocence yells, why, Eri, Papa, and Mama Melsa sleep together. Causing Lionheart and Mom to roll on the floor laughing their asses off as me and Melissa are devolved into stuttering strawberries. My mom in her evil demonic ways goes, well, that is settled then. Just please no baby making while Eri is in the bed. I paled as my eyes flicker. I yell, panicking. Ms. Inkawaha. Izuku, Melissa keeps stuttering so much it was unintelligible. I'm still freaking out when suddenly Melissa squeaks out, F fine, but only cost WW, wanna spend time with you, you unicorn Eri. I freeze as Eri jumps down and runs to Melissa, who is the darkest shade of crimson I've ever seen, before I do the right thing and fall flat on my butt. WW, what? I ask, still in my shocked stupor. Mom laughs. Izuku, it's fine, I trust you. We don't have a lot of space, and until we move to UA, we just go with this arrangement. Still with her evil eyes. I sigh, ugh, fine, but least don't tease us anymore. I say as I start to stand up. Lionheart, still with his 𝗧𝗜𝗍𝗘 grin, wipes tears from his eyes. Phew. Well, I make no promises. Just keep it in your pants and we good. I glare at him, quiet you or it's back to the pocket dimension. This time with bombs surrounding every inch of you. Lionheart pales a bit, seriously. I smile as I nod while slowly opening it. And no need. It's fine. Well, off to the couch I go. Good night. He stammers out as he quickly walks to the couch. Sighing, I say good night to him and Mom as me, Melissa, and Eri head to my room. I open the door and step inside the mostly bare room, as I had already destroyed all my All Might merch, thanking the heavens for having done so. Melissa slowly steps inside as 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 hops down to run to my dresser, grabbing another of my hoodies to hand off to Melissa. "Here, Mama Melsa, wear this for bed," she says, smiling as she also touches the symbol to remove her own armor. Melissa slowly grabs it. Oh, thanks, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘. Are you sure this is okay, Izu?" I sigh, then turn and smile at her. "Well, why not? It's just sleeping in the same bed. I know you're appealing and well-developed as it were, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna do anything inappropriate. Besides, not to fear, we have our guardian 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 here to protect us, right, Snowball?" 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 smiles with an adorable little salute. "𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, protect Mama Melsa, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 promise." Looking so cute and serious. Before she grabs Melissa's hand and leads her to the bathroom, "Mama Melsa, help 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 brush teeth," she says, giggling the whole way. I laugh a bit, before suddenly realizing, oh, I never laid in bed with a girl before. Holy FY. But why does life keep doing this to me? It's fine. Think. 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 will be there and we will only sleep. Right? Panicking the whole time. I just took my shirt off when I suddenly hear the door open. "Izu, I'm sorry, I didn't know you was naked." Melissa squeals and shuts the door. Naked? It was just a shirt. Why was she so flustered? I ask before looking down. Oh, that's why. I sweat drop, forgetting how much my body has changed. My muscles developed greatly, resulting in large arms and pecs as well as an 8-pack. I walk to the door and open it. "Melissa, are you alright?" I ask as she's all flustered. Yeah, just never expected to see you without a shirt on." I sweat drop. "Oh, sorry, Melissa. I usually sleep without one, but I can go put one on if that makes you feel better." She shakes her head a bit. No, it's fine. I don't want to make it more difficult on you to sleep," she says as her and 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 come into the room. Having changed into my hoodies, I smile. "Okay, as long as it doesn't make you uncomfortable." She smiles, still blushing. "I'll be okay. Let's just get laid down." I see 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 run and jump onto the bed as she pats beside. "Come on, Mama Melsa, we sleep." I crawled in bed up against the wall as 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 cuddled up beside me. Melissa sits down before she takes her glasses off and sets them on my desk. I hear her whisper mutter, "It's my first time in a bed with a boy and he's gotta be some massive muscled-up hot guy. Oh, at least he's nice and cute." I cough a bit as I start blushing like mad. Melissa." She stops and turns slowly. "I said that out loud, didn't I?" I just nod as she covers her face with her hands and panics. I reach over and put a hand on her shoulder. "Melissa? It's fine. Just lay down and get some sleep." She nods, still covering her face as she falls over into a laying position. She pulls her hands down as 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 grabs her arm a bit while yawning. "𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, so sleepy, Mama Melsa must be sleepy too." Melissa sighs as she puts an arm around 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and slowly looks at me. "Yeah, we need sleep. Sorry, dude, for making this more embarrassing. I didn't ever expect things like this. Heck, I didn't honestly think I'd even escape my father and come here. But worse yet was finding out Uncle Might was just as bad as a villain. It has been a long day, I should just do as 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 says and sleep. Sorry if I made you feel embarrassed." I smile kindly, placing a hand on her forehead and brushing the hair from her eyes. "It's fine. As long as you, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘, and my mom are safe, that's all that matters now, just up and sleep." Melissa, with cheeks flushed, just nods and puts her head down on the pillow. "Okay, but keep your hands where I can see them, muscle boy, hee." I blush at the thought as I pull my hand back in a 𝗧𝗱𝗧𝗟𝗘. "Fine, but you too. No feeling me up, I gotta keep my maidenly honor, you know." I grin at her as she giggles. "Thanks, Izu, for everything you've done for me. Saving me. Healing me and my scars. Giving me a home. Everything. Hell, you even found a way to give me power too. Even if you didn't plan on it." She smiles as tears form in her eyes. "I was lost for so very long. Locked away. Tortured by David. I had to learn everything myself. These clothes and glasses was all I ever got from him. But now meeting you, I feel like a normal girl for the first time in my life. Thank you." I reach up and start to wipe her tears away. I shouldn't have had to do all that, but this world treats us quirkless like we are worthless. No matter what, Melissa, I will do all in my power to keep you safe. Just like with 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 and my mom. Melissa smiled a bit more as she starts to close her eyes. You really got away with words, Izu. Hee, no wonder Nemuri gave you her number and asked me lots of questions about you. I freeze. Wait, hats, why Midnight had my phone. Looking like a deer in headlights as Melissa falls asleep. I got a appealing girl's number and the SEC goddess Midnight's number as well, and to top it off I'm sleeping next to a gorgeous one now. 𝗧𝗪𝐽𝐴, are you responsible for the way women see and treat me now? I wonder before getting a mental message. Maybe. It's actually all you, Izuku Shimura. Your heroic heart and intelligence. I viewed your future, so don't ask. But a little warning. Better get used to how women see you now. Anyway, get some rest. You, Melissa and Lionheart have to start training tomorrow. Go to Dagoba in the morning. Rest well, human Izuku. I started to pale, trying to understand that weird message. Oh boy, my life is weird now. I thought right before finally falling asleep. The next morning I wake up a bit. With my eyes still closed I notice something. I don't feel Aries' weight on me, but some soft things on my chest. I reach up with one hand to try and find Aries, but instead I feel a much larger body. I snap my eyes open to a forest of yellow. I reach up and move it to see Melissa passed out on my chest with her bubs smashed up against me as she snoozes, drooling on my shoulder. I froze up when I hear a strange clicking sound. Wait, oh, you got to be shitting me. I look over and Mom is standing at my door holding Aries in one hand, smiling madly as she snaps pictures again and again. I blush and my mouth falls open. Panic has set in, but I'm afraid to move and make the situation more embarrassing. Mom giggles and whispers, I'll get Aries dressed and take her to get some more clothes. When your girlfriend wakes up, get dressed and head to Dagoba. Lionheart is already there. Mouth open, I just nod my head up and down, not trusting my voice. She leaves as I hear laughter from her and Aries both. I try to think of a way out of this situation when I feel Melissa move around. I try to stay as still as possible while I feel her move a bit more and start to panic as I realize something. Oh no. Please no. Hormones, why do you betray me, damn it? Why now of all times? As my pee-pee starts to get hard I shut my eyes and beg for it to go down before Melissa wakes up as I feel it start jabbing her, most likely in the stomach. What's that? I gape as my eyes shoot open. Oh no. No. Please don't wake up now. Melissa starts to sit up as alarm bells are blaring in my head. God damn it, now she's gonna think I'm a freaking pervert and try to do something bad. F you hormones, you rat bastardess. I roar in my head. Oh wow, sorry for drooling on you, and I see Melissa start to look down and began to try and think of any logical response. She suddenly realizes what the hard thing poking her stomach was and her face glows crimson. And Melissa, I'm sorry, I promise I didn't mean for that to happen. I say, panicking as she quickly sits up and starts panic also. Is that your size? So sorry. Just you was basically grinding on me and it sorta just happened. I swear I'm not a perv or creep. She, while still blushing, just shakes her head side to side. It's okay, Izu. I'm sorry for grinding on you. Let's just I look at her to see why she stopped talking and see she just stares at my bulging pants. Let's just I panic as I notice her hand moving up a bit. What are you doing, Melissa? I ask as she keeps moving her hand up. Izuku, does it hurt being like that? She asks calmly. I nod my head a bit. Yeah, I guess BB, but why you still haven't weared me? I say as I swallow down the large lump in my throat before she looks me in the eye and asks, would you like me to help you with that? She asks, blushing a lot. My brain shuts down for a second when I realize what she said. Help. How? I ask, stuttering more and more. She finally places her hand on my bulge as I shiver and let a small them out. Well, not to see, but I could use my hand or something to help you let the SMN out, since I caused it to get so painfully hard in the first place. I panic a bit before I ask, Melissa, are you offering a hand job to me? She nods a little as it finally sinks in. Well, what do I do now? She must notice I'm thinking a million things a second. Just to help you out. It's okay with me, Izuku, as I caused this. I don't want you to be frustrated when we train later. I blinked at her words. Well, much as I try thinking of a hole in that logic, I can't. Are you sure? You won't think I'm a bad person? I asked. She giggles. Izuku, if you were bad, I never would been saved by you. You probably would have raped me and left me there. My jaw drops. That actually makes sense, I guess. Okay, Melissa, just don't tell anyone about this. Please, I beg ya. She smiles as I feel her hands grip my pants. Who would I even tell? Now lift your butt off the bed a bit so can pull these down. I nod as I raise my waist off the bed and she pulls my pants down as my 10-inch PP slaps her in the face a bit. Oh my god, Izu. I look at her as I sit back on the bed. Sorry. Is something wrong? Melissa looks at me with her tongue out a bit before I feel a hand wrap around my pages. No, just didn't know it would be so big. I forgot how you're super muscular because the powers you have. I laugh a bit. 𝗧𝗟𝗃 didn't make it like that, Melissa. It's embarrassing, but it's same size it's always been. I say as she looks shocked. DMN dude. While you didn't get a quirk, you definitely won a genetic lottery in this at least. She says as she starts to pump her hand up and down. Slow at first before she wraps both hands around it and starts to pump faster. That feels so good. I am out as she looks at me and purrs out, oh it does. That's good to know. This rod of yours is hard as steel, Izu. She stops a but as she pulls off the hoodie. I froze. Holy FFF. I am out loudly as she wasn't wearing a shirt or BR revealing her large white melons and pink nipples. No wonder they felt so soft on my chest. Oh, do you like it, Izu? She asks with a large blush. I could only nod as she leans forward a bit. That's good. Want me to make your PP feel even better? She asks as I widen my eyes and nod more. Leaning forward, she takes her big melons and begins to wrap them around my pages. Oh, if yes. God, your big bub feels so good on my PP, Melissa. She giggles as she starts to pump them up and down. I start to hump her bub a bit when she speaks. Izu, it's okay for you to grab them if you want. I hear her say with a lustful expression. I look down and slowly start to reach out and place my hands on her soft melons while still humping them. She moans as I squeeze them around my PP while I circle her nipples with my thumbs. God, that feels so dimmin' good, Izu. I smile. Yes, it does. I say as I start to hump her bub faster. Melissa and I both more and more. Before she asks me, would it be better if I use my mouth, Izu? I stop before I smile a bit. Do you want to mel? She giggles as she leans back a bit before shuffling back on the bed and taking her tongue to lick up the side of my pages. Does that answer your question? I am as I nod. She keeps licking all around my PP before I feel her open her mouth and slowly wrap her lips around my PP and start sucking on it a bit as with each time she takes more of my PP in her mouth. Holy 𝗧𝗟𝗃, Melissa, this feels amazing. You're so good at this. I see her eyes shine a bit as she pulls me out of her mouth. Some saliva led down to my peep. Really? It's my first time giving a BLWJB. You like it, Izu? She asks before sucking my PP some more. God, yes. Keep it up, Mel. I'm so close. She speeds up a bit as I hear her sloppily SCK it. She pulls me out again. Wanna come in my mouth, Izu? As that way easy clean up. She pops me back in her mouth. Sure. Go a bit faster, Mel, and I'll come. She smiles and takes my entire PP down her throat before sucking me fast. That warm, wet throat and her tongue wrapping round me to guide it down. She gags a bit and starts to as I start bucking my hips up. I reach out as I feel I'm gonna come and grab the back of her head. She moans as I feel ropes of cum shooting down her throat as I yes, Melissa. I don't know how she managed it, but she swallowed every drop of my huge load. I start to catch my breath as she takes me out of her mouth. Breathing heavy. Wow, dude, the taste wasn't even bad. But DM and Izu. That was so much. Little bit of a warning about the amount next time. I almost had to spit some out. She said, playfully poking my abs. Sorry, First time I ever came. I never done anything like that before. She looks me in the eyes. As she starts to climb up on the bed a bit, she puts her melons on my chest before kissing me on the cheek. Well then, you definitely deserved that then, huh? You're a great guy, and even though I hadn't known you that long, I can tell you deserve any happiness. If doing that makes you happy, well, then I'm glad to help you anytime. I reach up and put my hands on her shoulders as I lift her up a bit to look her in the eyes. Are you sure, Mel? I don't want to make you feel like I'm using you or anything. She giggles a bit. You know, your politeness makes you cute, and with that godly body of yours I'm sure any woman would do that and more. But trust me, Izu, if I didn't want any part of what we just did I'd never have offered in the first place. I open my eyes a bit wider as I digest her words. She really meant every word. I laugh a bit. You know, if I didn't know any better, Mel, I think you'd fallen for me. She blushed red. Well, would that be a bad thing, dude? I freeze. Wait, what? Really? She smiles as she looks at me. Yeah. I'm not the only one either. Midnight as well. Or haven't you noticed her when she looks at you, Izu? She's always blushing at you, and while her Midnight personality is kinda a slot, we both know in truth she's never been with anyone. We're not competing for you or anything, but unless you're denser than concrete it's obvious she more than likes you too. I just want to do all I can for you, as I know you meant every word you said about helping me and protecting. I think things over a bit before asking, so what's this make us? She giggles. For now, just friends. Hee, albeit with a few benefits here and there, but friends nonetheless. I smile a bit, saddened by only being friends, but okay, I can accept that. Now we got to get dressed and head to train, right? Izu, you wouldn't happen to have some training clothes I could wear? She asked, as I forgot she didn't have a lot of clothes as it was. We get up and she covers her melons a bit and I put on my pants again. I walk to my closet and pull out my training clothes, and a smaller pair I think will fit her. Here, will these work? If not, then we can grab you some before we reach 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏. Melissa grabs the shirt and shorts. I think so. What, no, be our guest. Izu wants me to show him my bub the whole time we train, hee. She giggles as I flush red. Well, while I would like that, Mel, I lack the gender for needing a BR. Especially one massive enough for your jumbo jugs. Ha. ID's back. She giggles. It's fine, Izu, I have underwear, so don't worry. Wouldn't want to show my body off to that giant alien dude. While don't mind you seeing it, I kinda mind if he does. I laugh my butt off before shaking my head as I change into my t-shirt and shorts. Yeah, I think he'd freak out and ask to be locked in my pocket dimension if a gorgeous 16 years old was naked in front of him. Wait, then again, dude's wife been gone a while. Right. We both blanch. Way to kill the mood, idiot. I say out loud. Before apologizing to Melissa. We finish changing when Melissa tells me, Izu, I seem to be having issues in the chest area. I look at her quizzically. Dude, my tips make this shirt impossible to move around in. It's too tight. She points out. Gotcha. We will stop by a clothing store on way so you can get some stuff. Least a couple, that way we won't have too much stuff, as we'll be moving to UA in 4 days. Once we do that, we can buy you and Ari a lot more things. Mel thinks it over before she agrees. So am I supposed to wear a hoodie to the store? Yes. I think about it and just ask her, got any better ideas? She sighs before pulling the shirt off and putting the hoodie back on. Nope, now let's go, Izu. We end up at Dagobah Beach roughly 45 minutes later after having gotten everything from Melissa. She was busy reading the spell book as me and Lionheart came up with a way to help me control my strength before he asked Melissa, would you like to train how to use the staff in a fight as well as help move some trash to increase your strength? Melissa thinks it over before agreeing. Lionheart takes her to a further part of the beach as I started working on the piles of trash nearest the entrance. After an hour, I already made pretty good headway and was quickly learning how to control my strength output. Another hour and Melissa and Lionheart came back with Melissa panting hard. Izu, I think he's trying to kill me. She huffed out after falling on her knees. Lionheart laughed. Oh hush, if I tried to kill you you'd be dead. Great work, both of you. I smiled as I took my shirt off to towel off the sweat. Thanks, and glad to have you here. You definitely helped me learn how to control my strength some. I figure 2 weeks and I'll enter it, then finish up cleaning the beach with shining mode strength control. I walked over handing Melissa a water bottle. She snatched it and began chugging it like she hadn't drank anything in days. Well, why don't we head on back? I think I can go into the pocket dimension again, kid. Had way too many weird looks walking here. Your fellow humans kinda creep me out. I laugh as I open it up and he hops in. He waves at me and Melissa before I shut it. I reach a hand down to help Mel up. TT, thanks, Izu. Phew. My legs are dead tired. Think you can help me get home? I laugh as I turn round and kneel down. Well, how about a piggyback ride, Mel? She hops on with her bag holding rest of the stuff we got as well as her book and staff. Giddy up, horsey, we gotta get home and shower. 'Cause you're sweaty. I deadpan at her attempt at humor. You're sweaty too, so don't act like it's just me or I'll drop you. I teased, hearing her huff as she pressed her melons in my back. Yeah, but you could have not mentioned that. He just for that you have to personally bathe me. I froze. Wait, what? She started cackling. As I started walking again. You're teasing me again, Mel. She laughs a bit before putting her lips by my ear. Not really, but we can bathe each other once we move to UA if you really want to house that sound, Izu. I turn beet red and nod, deal. Is all I say as she leans back. Really? Well then hope we get to UA soon. Inko's POV. I was glad Izawa had came to the house as early as he did. He had guard duty as myself, and Eri went to pick her up a few outfits and personal items, not a lot, but least this way she has some things until we move into UA. We spoke some as he was more chatty than I have heard him to be. Little Eri also was wearing her armor just in case, as I had my crystal and her other gifts from Lionheart and 𝗧𝗪𝗧 in my purse as precaution. We didn't expect trouble, but as they say, when trouble is least expected it's most likely to occur. After finishing picking up all of Eri's things, I saw someone I never once expected to see again. Walking up to us looking angry was 𝐒𝐼𝐵 There you are. Wow, you got fat, dumb beach. Where is our son? He started yelling at me as Izawa stepped between us. I do not know who you think you are, but this is your only warning. Apologize to Ms. Inko and Eri, then leave. Failure to do so could cost you more than you can afford. He growls out with a hand on his scarf. Hisashi snarls as he looks at Izawa. Oh, is your new man some poor harmless Inko? Here, have a penny and shut the F up. I got to talk with the fat beach about my kid. Ain't got time for your bullshit. Izawa sighs. Ms. Inko, please use the crystal and get one of the protectors for Eri in it. He growls as he unfurls his scarf. I don't even ask questions. I activated a pretty good size barrier as I hold the teary Eri and hand her both her protection dolls. GG grandma, who was scary man. Why he yell at you? She asked as I sigh. That unfortunately Eri is Izuku's real father. You're right, he is a bad man and Izawa is going to teach him a valuable lesson. Or at least I hope he is. I watch as Izawa throws his scarf around Hisashi and uses his quirk. In a low hushed tone I could barely make out, I hear him say, I do not care if you are her ex-husband and Izuku's father, Hisashi. You were warned and foolishly didn't listen. I will not allow you to talk to her that way, especially with Eri there. So we will do this. I will let you go. You will try to fight me. I will break you and arrest you. Then you will serve time and leave back for America. Do you understand me? Hisashi glares at Izawa with his eyes glowing red. If you think that's how this will play out, go ahead. But don't get mad when I burn your butt alive. I don't care if you're my ex-wife or not. You have no right putting yourself between me and what I want. Izawa chuckles at that. I do actually. See, I am her co-worker at UA. I am the pro-hero Eraserhead. I have no time nor patience for morons who cannot follow the law. So now your beating will be even worse. Then I will drag you to your son and let him beat you as well. Then after all is said and done we will send you to prison. Oh, I think 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗟 was right. Shoto was the perfect bodyguard, as now he will give that dumbass a major beating. He hope he really does drag him to Izuku to finish putting Hisashi in his place. He let the fool go, but right as he did I saw Hisashi start to throw a punch with tons of smoke billowing out of his mouth. Neither the punch landed nor did any fire come out as Izawa blocked the punch and cancelled Hisashi's quirk before he proceeded to do just what he said and beat the BSTRD black and blue as I covered little Eri's eyes. Geez. I hope he leaves some for Izuku. After a couple minutes Hisashi is cuffed and wrapped up in Izawa's scarf as he calls for Midnight and 𝗬𝗪𝗧 to transport him to UA. Then he called up a detective Tsukachi to head to UA and interrogate him in Nizu's office. After that he turns around and gives me the okay to release the barrier. Dang. Think he's gonna survive long after Izuku gets his hands on him with that much damage already? I ask, smiling as he smiles a bit. Do you actually care? As I don't. Izuku could probably kill him and get away with it. But this way the school and Izuku all know what's going on. Who knows, after this we may have to move you guys in tonight. I nod. That's probably a good idea actually, as I don't want to risk All Might finding us, and living at the school is best way to keep that from happening. But thank you for doing that, Izawa. I'm glad Dagoya made you our bodyguard. He smiles as I think I see a blush. Oh, you're welcome, Ms. Inko. He says nervously. I turn to Hisashi. Is he even conscious? I ask. Fearns. No. Plus recovery girl will most likely refuse to heal him when he gets to UA anyway. We both chuckle as Eri looks at Izawa. Thanks, Grandpa Sleepy. Izawa stammers before looking at Eri. Grandpa, huh? Eri smiles. Yeah. You protect Eri and Grandma Inko. You make Grandma Inko smile a lot. You my grandpa now. He sighs. There's no getting out of that, is there, Ms. Inko? I laugh as we walk outside. Nope. You're stuck with us, I'm afraid. After all, she has a very protective father and wouldn't want to upset her now, would you? I tease, but Izawa pales. Why you know? When you put it like that. He turns to Eri. I wouldn't mind being called Grandpa Zawa, little Eri. How does that sound? Eri smiles. Okay then, you Eri's Grandpa Zawa. You be nice to Grandma Inko or I tell Papa. Got it. I start to cackle as Izawa panics, a bit realizing what Eri meant. Eri, while I get a kick out of what you said, let's not push Izawa too much. He may get broken. Eri pouts a bit but nods. Okay, Grandma. She says as Namuri and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗡 arrive. What happened to show? Namuri asked as Izawa let Hisashi go for 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗡 to grab and place in the car before wrapping a layer of cement around his torso. I smile at Namuri. Oh, nothing. Eri just was trying to pair me and her Grandpa Zawa up. I say with a giggle. Namuri laughs at that. Grandpa Zawa, huh? Well, it fits. Hello, Lil Angel Eri, how was shopping with Grandma besides the bad man showing up? She asks as Eri holds her hands out for Namuri to grab her and hug her. It was very fun. We buy clothes for Eri. Hope Papa likes them. Me and Namuri laugh as Izawa coughs to draw our attention. Well, if you are finished, Namuri, can you and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗡 take Hisashi here to Nizu? I have Tsukachi heading to UA now, so he can interrogate him. I need to take these two home and inform young Midoriya of what happened. Then we will probably need to move them all into a home on campus today. Namuri smiles. Oh, fine, you party pooper. But I want details when you get back. Bye for now, Lil Angel Eri. I'll see you when your family comes to UA later today, okay? She hugs Eri one more time as Eri giggles. Okay, Mama Nemumo. Eri, see you soon, right? Namuri smiles. As she hands Eri to me. Yes, I promise, Angel. You guys stay safe and be at UA soon, okay? She and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗡 get in and wave before driving off. I look to Izawa and say, well, would the kind Grandpa Zawa walk me and his granddaughter Eri home now? We have lots to do, you know. Izawa sighs. I'm never living this down, am I? He asks grimly. I giggle. Nope, now lead on, Gramps. I say as we make our way to the apartment. We get there pretty quickly, just as Izuku shows up giving Melissa a piggyback ride, both covered in sand and sweat. Well, long as there's not a bun in the oven, guess I'm okay with this. I say while giggling as we enter the apartment. Only for Izuku to blush. Mom, we didn't do that. I promise we only did some training. I laughed at the two blushing messes as Izuku sets Melissa down on the couch. Fine. But anyway, we need to talk, Izuku. Your father found me at the mall today. Izuku stands up and narrows his eyes. Did he now? Well, seeing as you and Eri are alright, I guess Izawa handled the situation. I nod. Yes, problem child. However, due to this, I think it's best if we move your family as well as young Melissa into campus today if possible. Said Izawa. Izuku smiles. Well, I don't see why not. That actually would provide better protection. We don't have much left to pack as it is. I can box everything up and put it with Lionheart in the pocket dimension, so easy transportation that way. Then you take Mom with you and I'll fly Eri and Melissa to UA after Mel and I take our showers first. How does that sound? Izawa nods. That's agreeable. Take your time, you three. We will head there now if that's okay with you all. Izuku agrees and helps Melissa up. He sends her to the bathroom with Eri before he asks me, "Do you have everything boxed up in your room already, Mom?" I nod as I grab a few things and head back to the door where Aizawa was waiting. Mostly Izuku. The boxes are next to my bed. All that's left my dresser that you can have Melissa and Eri box up, and whatever is in the kitchen, a few towels and things in bathroom in your room. Should only take you all a few minutes. I wave to him as me and Aizawa head out. It takes us about an hour to reach campus. We head directly to 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗟𝗘 office where a cuffed Hisashi was sitting. A detective and both Namuri and 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧 were there as well. "Hello, Ms. Inko. I am sorry for the way things went today," says 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏 as he smiles softly. "It's okay, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏. Could have gone worse, but with Aizawa there things went smoothly. Has Hisashi answered all your questions?" 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏 smiles. "Well, it took some prodding, but yes, he did. Due to his attack, I have saw fit to have the housing built, and it was finishes before you go here. There's 5 bedrooms with 3 bathrooms since there will be at least 5 people living there. We wants to make it so you all could have your own room. Also, due to the reported size of Lionheart Blood Rage, we made his room a bit larger than most with larger furniture so as to give him an easier time with things. But it's all furnished with each room having a king-sized bed except the one we intend for Eri to use when she feels safe enough to be in her own bed. Multiple dressers and a desk in each room. Televisions and other electronics as well are available in each room. The bathrooms have both showers and bathtubs in them. The kitchen's rather large and fully stocked as well. We have a walk-in pantry stocked with just about any food you can think of. Once your son and the girls arrive, you can all move in today," he said, to which surprised me at the size of housing he was essentially just giving us. "But thank you, 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏. We were honestly just expecting a little bigger apartment. But this is so very much more than anything we ever imagined," I say, stunned. He cackles. "But considering it's going to be housing the future number 1 as well as his family, we couldn't halfway do things now, could we? Besides, after everything you all have been through, this was the least we could do for you." I relent and simply smile as I nod. About 30 minutes later, Izuku, Melissa, and Eri arrive. Melissa carries Eri and walks beside me as I see Hisashi and begin to walk over to him. Nobody speaks as Izuku flares his aura to life. "Hello, esteemed donor. I'm fairly sure Mother said what would happen should you ever come to her again, did she not?" he said in a dark, terrifying voice that shook Hisashi out of his anger. I smiled as Hisashi paled and began shaking. "TT, that's Father TT to you, b-boy," he stutters out. A father doesn't abandon his family simply because their child isn't born with a quirk. A father takes care of his family. A father spends time with their kids. He takes care of them, helps them, makes them feel safe, makes sure they're healthy. He loves and treats their children fairly and would sooner sacrifice their own happiness for that of their child. "Tell me, Hisashi, did you do any of those things?" said Izuku as Hisashi just shook with fear and stared daggers at the floor. Refused to answer. "That is fine, SPRM donor. See, I myself have became a father. That appealing little girl over there is my adopted daughter. You tried attacking her and my mother. Hey, raise some warnings for you, Hisashi. At 20% of my current power, I can defeat even All Might. You can never make me be your SLV again. You can never take advantage of me and Mom again. We want nothing to do with you. You can't make us fear you, little man. If you ever come near my mother and daughter again, I will murder you and no one will ever find the body. Do you understand me, SPRM donor?" he said, releasing a huge wave of bloodlust. Hisashi looked as if he was choking and we all could see he pissed his pants. He shook all over as he tried to think of what to say. Smiling, he looked up. "Oh, really? Then how will you stop me? You're just a quirkless freak with aware of a mother and a retarded daughter worth nothing. Katsuki Bakugo is more of a son than you, so go ahead and kill me. Least then you will be arrested for murder," he said, trying to manipulate my son. I sigh, knowing what's about to happen. I turn to 𝗧𝗓𝗧𝗏. "Does the school carry body bags?" I deadpan. No, but I have a feeling we won't need one." I giggled as we all look at Hisashi. "Oh well. Still trying to manipulate me, are you not? Well, fine. How about you and I visit the being what gave me the powers you seek to try and make me use for you? 𝗧𝗪𝗧, I know you know what is going on. Can you please warp Hisashi to you? We all smile as Hisashi is teleported away. 𝗧𝗪𝗧's POV, I brought human Hisashi Midoriya to me with my teleportation ability. What? Where am I? I smile when he looks at me and pales. Well, hello human Hisashi Midoriya. We need to have a little chat. I say as I make him glow red. Izuku's POV, after about 10 minutes later, Hisashi was warped back into his chair. Pale as a ghost, he looks around and asks, shaking, "CC, can I go to PP prison N now?" We all start to laugh. What happened to your pathetic bravado? I ask as he trembles more and more. Hisashi shakes even more. I am sorry and I will never appear in your lives again. Please send me to prison. Anything but back to that gigantic blue demon. I cackled at that as we all looked at Tsukachi, who just shrugs as if to say, yeah, but finish this up first. I step forward. Well, Hisashi. Seems we have a bit more time. Let's enjoy it, I say before waylaying him. After 15 minutes he is transported to Tartarus. I turn to Nizu, who laughs. Well, is that all, Mr. Fuzzy Rat Man? As I'm tired and would like to move my family to the home you built. Nizu smiles and says that was all before he has midnight take us to the new home. About 2 hours later we had finished unboxing everything. I smile. I can get used to this. Before heading to the nearest bath. As I knock, no one answers, so I walk in only to see Melissa standing there in just a towel. Oh well, guess you really wanted to wash my body for me. She smiles as I take my clothes off. She removes her towel. I guess so. We then hop into the bath together. After one hell of a BLWJB later, we wash up before heading to my room with Eri to talk for a bit before Melissa gets tired and heads to her room. Well, Eri, it's just you and me tonight. Let's get some sleep, Snowball. I say as she nods her head before we head in the bed and go to sleep.